Hey, you guys, it's Rob Paulson, voice of your childhood. Who knew that a middle-aged white guy was the voice of your childhood? Well, anyway, I'm listening to the Grawlix podcast. You know why? Because I can. And so should you. Bye.
This is Jesse. In the future, when a gender-fluid sci-fi alien creature announces a racial, gender, or really any change, they'll play two truths, one lie, and make you guess what the real news is.
This is Melanie, and in the future, everyone will fight like women. We will all have small cameras that record our entire lives every day, so when we get into an argument, we'll have years of files to whip out to prove our point. But women will still be better at it than men.
This is Randy. In the future, we can look forward to the Mondasian cyber women pushing children off of cliffs.
Oh, baby.
I'll fix it in post. It's fine. I'll fix it in post. In the
do
future,
it live.
I'll fix it in post.
There you go.
That's just gonna be mine from now on.
In the future, I'll fix it in post.
You know what? When we'll do that time.
And by post, I mean cereal. Post cereal.
Yeah.
Oat flakes.
Oh, okay, God. Welcome to the Grawlix podcast. It's the giant, spectacular episode 50.
Woo!
Whoa!
It only took us since...
Is the right answer.
It only took us 3.5 years to get here.
That's all?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Time travel.
Time travel.
Woo!
Yeah.
That totally...
We're consistently traveling forward in time.
Yeah. We
Time
are
travel.
time travelers. First off, what we're going to talk about later on this episode after we get through our in-house news business and the usual banter and our epic laughter.
And all the fun stuff.
Yeah. We're revisiting the latest season of Doctor Who. A couple episodes ago, we discussed, I guess it was a few episodes ago now, we discussed about the first half of season 10. So we're going to, since that season's wrapped up with the exception of this next Christmas special, we're gooing all about it.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to discuss the second half of the season, what we thought about the season as a whole, and also other Doctor Who stuff and other TV talk stuff. It's a TV talk episode.
TV talk.
There's a lot of words for
Yeah.
yeah, see? We're going to talk about TV.
Oh, God, we're back to that.
Radio is dead. It's all TV now.
Yep. Actually.
It always was.
TV's almost dead, so...
Yeah, it's all podcast now.
Yep.
All TV is just TV.
You won't even be able to
Whatever
watch
that
anything
means.
anymore. You'll just have to listen to podcasts of other people watching TV.
That ties into this episode very well, and also specifically an audio clip I have for you guys later. That ties in very well.
Okay.
But yeah, we also have some input from some other people, so I'm excited for that.
Oh my God, other people
Other
exist?
I mean, I didn't see
And they
them.
know about us?
The recordings could be fabricated. I have not seen them with my own eyes, so
Oh. Well, we'll have to do some tests and make sure.
yeah.
Honor system, people. Honor system.
All right. First. Oh, you like this?
Hey, I do.
Okay. Sorry, visual thing. I have a Band-Aid on my cherry, essentially. It's a rag that I tied around the arm because it was falling apart.
Because you always destroy the arms, man. Always.
It's injured. So this is its bandage.
It's got a sling.
It is kind of a sling because it's totally on the arm of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh!
In-house.
I was the one that was slow to the uptake on that one.
You were the one that you set us up for.
I know. I set it all up, and I didn't even think.
Wow, this is something special. The beginning of this episode.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we've all been together, so we're meandering.
Yeah, it's true. It's
for
true.
old time's sake.
And hey,
New time's
Melanie's
sake.
back. She was gone all last
The
month.
time's sake. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome back.
Did you miss me?
Yes.
They did.
They did.
Oh God, did you hear those episodes? Yeah.
All right. In-house news. Jesse, I know you had a couple things. What you got?
I got a couple things. Since our last episodes, Okamicon happened. We said they would. And a lot of things came out of that. It's funny, we were kind of joking about people like hearing the episodes and whatnot, because it was a surprising amount of people at Okamicon that actually knew who we were.
Really?
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Like they would name check us and stuff, and they'd be like, "Yeah, and the Grawlix podcast is here." And even though like it took me days to actually connect with some of the people, but like then I would run into people and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, and this is Jesse from Grawlix podcast," and the one guy was like, "Oh, Grawlix podcast. Oh, you're Grawlix podcast." I was like, "What? You're not supposed to know what that means. No one's supposed to have heard of us. This is weird. I don't know how to handle this." But it was a really cool experience. Okamicon in general was a really cool experience. And our friends over at Two-Headed Nerd, they were recording live. And so I happened to walk by as they were recording, and they literally stopped what they were doing. Like they paused their recording, chatted with me a bit, and then had me record my usual answer of the week bit for them.
Oh, nice.
But that was, it was really cool. And it was just like, I didn't need you guys to like stop what you were doing.
Yeah. Makes you feel famous, huh?
But they did everything. I mean, they're just that cool. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not the cool part of that. They were that cool. And then, I did a quick episode with, Daydream Instruction Manual with, Billy Peck and Eddie Fossler over there. And that, if you want to look that up, their Daydream Instruction Manual, and it's episode 72.
Mm-hmm. I'll include a link in the show notes.
Okay, good. That's way easier than trying to find it, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I want to read that because I daydream all the time, and I want to see what their instructions are because I think I do it pretty well.
You want to read their instruction manual?
Mm-hmm.
That actually was part of that was part of the conversation, was like coming up with names for the episodes, and I gushed about how we all thought that was an incredible name for a podcast.
It is a great name.
It is.
I want it. I want to take it.
I want it.
Hey guys, that's mine now. You can keep podcasting. I'm not going to use it for a podcast. I'll use it for like music or something.
It's basically just going to be my life.
It's me now. That's my name.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's my name. That's my name. That's how you refer to me now.
I'm the Daydream Instruction Manual.
If you're not into that, if you're into that whole brevity thing, you can just call me Dim.
Oh.
Daydream Instruction Manual.
Yeah.
Whole
But
brevity
suddenly
thing.
it's not quite as
appealing.
Yeah, not as initials anyway.
You got the dimmer on. Oh boy. What else has happened? We put out a Facebook Live version of a Grawlix Nights. You can get it either way. If you like your Grawlix Nights episodes to be downloaded, the traditional model, you can do that, or you can see the unedited version on Facebook Live. Grawlix Nights number 11 with Jarrod Steenblock of One Stop Comics, a comic book store here in Fremont, Nebraska, just opened this year. Really got some good feedback on that video, or seems like a lot of people are watching and enjoying that video.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I did not know you were going to do it, and it sounded like you didn't really know you were going to do it till last minute.
No, I didn't either. I kind of knew I wanted to do it at some point. I didn't know that I was going to do it that day. I was just like, I'm up, and I know he has business hours today, and maybe if he gets back to me, I could just do it now. And that's kind of how it went. I was like, "Hey, do you want to do it now?" And he's like, "Yeah, I could do it now."
And it's an actual
that's got it. Yeah,
proper video interview.
Woo!
You can look at them talking.
Oh my gosh! Each other. Wow.
But that also went
real
up
bizarre, real weird.
That also went up as an audio episode in the feed. So I mean, if you're listening to this, you probably know that. But it was good. It was a good interview.
I'll take your word for it.
The one thing I was totally wrong about the Cap Wolf stuff. Like I talked about that as being my closet favorite, and I said it was Marv Wolfman, but we're reading a Marv Wolfman book for another podcast, and so I was like, Cap Wolf, Wolfman. That's really weird that it's Wolfman and it's about Wolfman, and that's at that moment while we're recording, I'm like, this can't possibly be right. It's like, that's way too on the nose. Who with the last name Wolfman would actually do a Wolfman story? and let it be that on the nose. And I was like, I don't think this is right. So I went back and checked it out, and I was totally wrong.
So we have corrections. Yep.
Yeah, errata. Speaking of videos, Scribblenauts is back.
It's back. Do more Scribblenauts. And so far I've just been doing them live because it takes way more time to record them, edit them. Although I do miss editing them because there's extra pressure to doing it live to where it's like when I'm recording them without that pressure, I'm still like, duh, I don't know what words to use. And when I'm live, it's even worse. So then I'm just like, rocket launcher, kill everything. But it's fun live streaming them, and Jesse and Jasper actually usually pop up in the comments while I'm live streaming.
I say I've been having fun, like popping in and totally derailing you.
Well, you
sometimes being useful.
Yeah, you
sometimes being useful.
You helped me figure out that one mission that I would not have got, but I don't think
you got that stupid cape mission immediately.
Oh yeah, just
and I was just like, okay, cape. And cape did nothing. And I was like, hero costume. And that did nothing. And I was just like constantly trying to figure out why this cape thing wouldn't work. And you were just like, Superman cape. And that was it. That did it.
I was a little surprised it actually worked. It gave me Superman's cape. But that song popped in my head, of course. You don't pull on Superman's cape. And I was like, I bet it's that.
Yep, you were right.
I have never heard of that song.
You've never, well, it's, that's not the name of the song, but it's like, you don't pull on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind. You don't mess around with the old Ranger. Lone Ranger, and you
don't mess around with Jim?
Yeah. See, you know the song.
That's old as crap.
It is old. That's why I said that old song. Yeah.
Okay. No, I know what you're talking about. How would that pop in your head, though?
Because he wanted a cape, and I'm playing a DC game, and I was like, Superman's cape. Hey, don't tug on Superman's cape.
Good job, baby. Because that never would.
Yeah, see?
That's the last thing that would have come to my mind.
Never tug on Superman's cape, copper.
Yeah, one small portion
of it.
You
went a little timey on it.
Yeah.
Well, plus when you're doing those videos, you've got to just constantly be saying stupid things. You got to be trying to be entertaining. And I'm like, well, it's just connect the dots. It's like, what is it? The ink blot thing where they show you
a Rorschach.
Yeah, the Rorschach test. And you just think of you just say the first thing that comes to mind. Mm-hmm. That's kind of live streaming.
It's usually a demon.
You're playing a game and you just say the first thing that comes to mind. It's usually a demon.
Now I want to watch Mel play that game. Scribblenauts. Demon. A demon cape.
Etrigan. I wonder if they have Etrigan.
They do.
Oh yeah.
They do.
He's in there somewhere.
Oh,
yeah, I've seen him somewhere in there. I don't remember what level he's on, but
poetry.
Poetry, and it's just him. He pops
out. Rhyming.
So in these games, not to go on too long about them, because we've talked about them before, and I'm sure this does not make for great podcasting, but you can create sidekicks and heroes and vehicles and enemies and whatever not. You can create characters. And every time I create one, like the fridge, or in this latest one I made Raphael, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Raphael.
He looked okay, I thought.
He looked great. It was just laughable that
so useless.
Didn't work.
It was so useless. None of these sidekicks are helpful to me. I don't understand how to make them useful. I even when I made him, I bumped up his power. I didn't make him ridiculously overpowered, but he did nothing to this guy. He didn't help me. And then he just ran back.
He was too slow. He couldn't. He just ran back and forth across the screen, trying to catch the guy, trying to be helpful.
He's a turtle. I mean,
he's a ninja turtle.
That was the running joke. It was well, he's slow as a turtle.
But even when I made him fly, he didn't do anything. And they don't
No, he was still too slow.
They don't follow you around. You have to assign them an adjective to get them to follow you. And the only one I can ever think of that actually works is loyal. But you can only, I don't know. You can only use that so many times, and it's just a pain. So anymore, I'll grab a sidekick, pop them in. They're good for a couple jokes, and then I leave them behind in the level because they're idiots.
You should try Siamese.
Siamese?
Yeah.
As an adjective?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they are my twin?
Yep.
Okay.
So they're stuck to your hip?
Or they just sit there and judge you with their judging eyes like Siamese cats.
Well, that too. But still, they'd have to be around to do that, right? Yeah.
I feel like
True.
So yeah, Scribblenauts. It's like the Siamese cats. What else we got? Oh yeah, you can get those at YouTube, just on YouTube. No, youtube.com/Grawlix podcast. Also on VidMe. VidMe is not quite the political cesspool that it once was. I think the community is improving. So yeah,
yay!
I can finally start telling people, hey, you should check us out on VidMe, because before I'd put stuff up there, but I was kind of not thrilled with like a lot of the stuff that made it to the front page and a lot of the like conversation and the community. I was kind of like, ooh, I don't know if I really want to push to have people come over here, but I think it's getting better. So.
Yeah, it's like, we got this great video, but it's surrounded by racists, so don't come there.
Well, and that's the thing. Okay, and that's the thing with VidMe is like, I think they really started blowing up because when YouTube like started going through like making people mad, cutting ad revenue, like, oh, they're censoring us, and VidMe was like, hey, no censorship, say whatever you want, we're free speech, come over here. So then you get a certain type of people who are like, hey, hell yeah, free speech. And as I don't know what that voice was.
Well, it was descriptive.
It was almost Fat Albert.
I know. At first, it started, hey. No, that's something totally different.
It's VidMe racism.
Yep.
And Jello. And other things.
They are not going to like us anymore. They're going to censor us now because I said that.
Oh no,
no. If they were going to censor us for anything, it'd be the Jello comment, because, you know.
Okay, I was waiting for the next thing to come out of your mouth. Like, wait, where is this going? If they're going to censor us for anything, it'd be insert any number of horrible things.
Well, I could throw some out, but I won't, because we're clean.
Yeah, we're clean language.
So fresh and so clean.
That little laugh was amazing.
You know, that always makes me think of douche commercials.
See? Clean.
Oh.
That's, I don't know what exactly he was thinking about when he wrote that, but I'm so fresh and so clean. That's what it makes me think of. The summer's eve, you know?
Yeah. Summer's eve, yeah.
He probably wasn't thinking of that, but who's to say?
Yeah.
All right, moving on. What else we got? Oh, Comic-Con. Hey, you want to talk about that? Oh, wait, you already did.
I thought he was doing
I kind of did. I feel like I got a new banner up on the table. So that was nice. I mean, at least when people like take the Grawlix podcast business card, you know, you can say, oh, yeah, there's a podcast here. Because I feel like at my table, we sell a lot of artwork. And so like a lot of times they're like, well, I really like your artwork. This stuff is awesome. I'm taking your card. And then they grab the podcast card and I don't stop them. I'm like, yeah, definitely take that card. But it's like, I don't feel like that's the card you wanted.
No, you're going to be very confused by that card. And that card will not make me money. But
right.
Take it anyway.
I was like, well, I mean, like, if even one person takes that card and starts becoming a listener, I'm fine with it. But like, I'm like, oh, okay.
Hey, by the way, if anybody listening now happened to be listening because of said Grawlix podcast business card from one of the conventions, give us a shout out. I'd love to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're out there, but it'd just be cool to hear, like.
And I'll apologize by throwing some free art at you because I need to get rid of some of my art because there's too much.
There you go.
It's not Jesse's, but whatever. It's there.
You like art?
It was a.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? My buddy Andrew, who was he was our neighbor. He was our table neighbor, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He was listening to the show and he tagged us on Facebook and whatnot. So that was kind of cool. He's actually going to be doing he did a Swamp Thing bust, which I know I've probably sent to Randy a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cool. He sculpts it out of Warbler and polymer clay and all other manner of things. And so our discussion on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles may or may not have inspired him to do another Warbler sculpture based on the original Ninja Turtles, the black and white that we reviewed last month.
Oh, nice.
That's
So that's
awesome.
pretty cool.
I don't know what that material is, but it totally sounds like Warblood, and that's awesome.
Yeah, what is that? That was something I was
Warblood.
unsure of too. What is that Warbler?
Honestly, I haven't worked with it, so I couldn't say exactly, but it's like a type of moldable, not like clay, but like a material. It's almost like a leather, but not quite.
Oh, that's cool.
Like you mold it into a shape and then it'll hold. And it's good for making like masks. And he's made some masks in the past. And I know he used some of that to work on Swampy.
Yeah, I've done.
Which is, like, if you haven't seen it, definitely go look up Andrew Schmidt's artwork and check out his Swamp Thing because it's awesome. That sounds like a euphemism, but it's not. Now, Man-Thing, on the other hand, is a totally different thing. That's a euphemism. I guess I didn't talk about like the celebrities that I talked to at Okamicon. There was a lot of different guys there, but the two that I spent my money on were Billy Yost from the Power Rangers, and I was really surprised at how starstruck I was with him. He was like a super nice, normal dude, and like my interactions with him were fine. But then he was like, it was time to take the selfie or whatever, and he's like, "Do you want to hold the morpher or the helmet?" And as soon as I held the helmet, I was just like, "I don't know what's wrong with my face. I can't have a normal expression. Like I want to smile, but I don't want." Like in the past, I've had smiles that are just like I am vibrating or something because I wind up blurry. So I'm like, okay, I got to take a good picture. I got to take a good picture. And you can see that on my face. Like I look terrified.
You have pictures of yourself with various doctors, Doctor Who doctors, but this one might be my favorite because of the look on your face. You do look kind of terrified.
I mean, like, I look more terrified in this one than the photo I took with Stan Lee. I don't know how that's possible because, I mean, like, it's Stan Lee.
If the things in comic books and whatnot were to come to life, I think I'd be most terrified of Mighty Morphin creatures because they're so lame. And something that lame killing me, man, I would, that would be horrible. That'd be the worst thing possible. Like a blob just destroyed me. A blob of clay. Yeah, no, couldn't do it.
That rhymes, does like raps. Rapping blob of clay.
So real quick tangent related to what this situation right here. Yesterday I was talking to Jasper and he was just trolling me about film directors and stuff and getting me all worked up, and I was yelling at him and all this. And so that ended up getting into, like, basically, I don't need to take you step by step how we got there, but what would it take to troll Jesse like that? And I think Melanie just hit it.
Oh, the Power Ranger thing?
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh, no.
If you haven't heard my Power Ranger story, I mean, basically, I went into Power Rangers, trolling it, like I didn't think I would like it. I thought it was dumb and whatnot. And then I just kept watching it, but I'm like a martial artist. So eventually I was just like, you know what? I kind of get it now. I kind of love this. I don't know why. It's so terrible that I love this. It was like an Evil Dead kind of thing. Like when you watch the first Evil Dead, you're kind of like, this is not very good. And then you're like, you start laughing because of how not good it is. And by the end of the movie, you love it.
I think everyone in our age group, everyone above a certain age, watched Power Rangers for that exact reason, because we were all like, what a piece of crap. But then we were like, but I just can't stop watching it.
Oh, yeah. Like, I was in like sixth grade, and I was like, God, I hate this show, and I hate this Bull or whatever his name, the comic relief sidekicks. I was like, this is so cheesy.
Oh, it's Bulk and Skull, yeah.
Bulk and Skull. But I kept watching it.
Yep, me too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Power Rangers, the fighting stuff was kind of fun.
And I like Billy.
Did you?
And that's who I met. I met Billy.
Oh, yeah.
So I was terrified. I was terrified of how awesome Billy was.
Why
which is so bizarre to say out loud. Because he's just like, affirmative, Zordon. I can find the answer.
Yeah, yep.
That's true. He's like,
ay, ay, ay.
He's. All right. What else? What else we got?
Oh, and then I met Rob Paulson, and
Oh yeah,
we got some really cool promos, which I don't know if we'll hear one probably at the top of this episode, maybe.
yes,
I don't know.
Yes, you will. And thank you for
He was
reminding me.
super cool. I mean, just the whole process of talking to him was really fun. So
The voice of your childhood.
Cool.
big time, yeah. And I was wearing my Tick t-shirt, and he was like, "Oh yeah." So he even helped me pick out like the photo that he was going to sign because it had Arthur, because he was the voice of Arthur on the Tick animated series.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, like he voiced everything. It was crazy.
A lot of the characters was like prime, like I was grooving on cartoons at that point because you're talking Tick, Animaniacs, that certain time period of were those all? No, I guess some of those were WB.
Yeah. Oh, he was all over the place. Yeah, because Tick was Fox.
Yeah, Fox.
He was Raphael, from the '80s cartoon series.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who did them. I think he was. Wasn't that a Saturday morning cartoon? I don't know.
It may be originally, but it didn't say that way. 'Cause I remember watching them.
You're right.
Yeah, that went into syndication for a long time, I think.
And then WB was Animaniacs, I know, because they always had that stupid water tower door thing.
Yep.
And then he was on Jimmy Neutron. He was Carl.
Oh.
Was it Carl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the Nani. He was so many names.
Really?
Yeah, that's Carl.
Really?
Yeah.
You do that all the time.
I know I do.
Actually, he threw down several recordings, so you'll probably hear of him at the beginning of many episodes.
Yeah, well, and he's a podcaster, so that was one of the things he's like, like when he heard that he was doing a promo for a podcast, he was just like, oh yeah, heck yeah. So, Pinky in the Brain, boom. Yakko Warner, boom. Carl, boom. So he just had it. He was ready. I mean, like, I could do a whole episode on Comic-Con, but we need to get into TV talk because we could be meandering in that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Prepare yourself for fisticuffs. It's the main event.
Let's get ready for embattlement.
I like that one. That one's pretty good. Okay, so a few episodes ago, I don't remember which episode it was, we discussed the first half of Season 10, or Series 10 if you're one of our UK listeners. Do we have UK listeners? Hello, UK listeners. Well, according to the stats, we also have a large portion of Japanese and German listeners somehow.
And by the way, I'm sorry.
For what? I don't know if I want you to. I don't know if I want you to expand on that.
By the way, I'm sorry.
But I'm not sure how accurate that is because I've seen in groups that use the same stats that we use. I've seen in Facebook groups other people say the same. So either they are just devouring podcasts over there, or there's something weird, that's maybe not accurate. But
maybe they're like the piracy capitals of the world.
That would pirate everything, including the free stuff. Arr!
Yeah. They're like, we're going to compile it so that one day when people have to pay for it, we'll be like, I got it for free. Under my coat.
That's true. That's true. Probably what Stitcher's doing. That's why they're downloading everybody's episodes, playing them off their servers.
Yep.
Stitcher. Oh, Stitcher.
We're on to you, Stitcher.
We're on to you. Stitcher has changed hands like 2 or 3 times since we started our podcast. Every once in a while, it's like, hey, so-and-so owns Stitcher now. Oh, great. Okay. What's that mean? What's that mean for us?
Yeah. Is that going to change anything?
They have a premium.
Doesn't seem like it has.
No, they have a premium service now, but you don't need that to listen to like podcasts and stuff.
What does that even mean? What does a premium service mean? It like that we don't have ads in between episodes? Because they don't like interrupt an episode to throw in their own ads, do they?
No, and I was worried they did because I thought I heard somebody say they did, but I've actually, just because Google Play which is how I was listening to podcasts on my phone a lot, is glitchy. Like the player is glitchy. And then the other app, that my fallback app, is also glitchy. So Stitcher has actually kind of become my go-to podcast app. And no, they'll throw an ad in between episodes, but it's usually like an ad for some Stitcher produced podcast. And it's like one ad and then it's on to the next episode. But I haven't heard anything inserted into episodes, which is fine. I'm fine with in between episode ads. I mean, that's kind of the equivalent to whatever pop-up ads they're going to have on your screen anyway. It's not interfering with your episode.
Reminds me of Spotify. Like they won't like interrupt the song while it's playing, but like after a song's done, before they let you move on to the next thing, you gotta listen to their ad.
Yeah.
But if they were interrupting episodes, that's kind of where I got beef.
Right.
And I think a lot of podcasters would also have beef because it's like, listen.
It would be like interrupting a song, and you can't do that.
No, yeah.
Well, actually, they sometimes on the radio, when I used to listen to the radio, they would start it before a song was completely over sometimes.
Yeah.
Which is not good.
No, it kind of disrupts things. Wow. What happened? How did we get there?
We were talking about Doctor Who, and that took us to international listeners, and listeners took us somehow to Stitcher.
It's the natural flow.
Jeez. All right. Let's just get on.
Welcome back to episode 50 of the Grawlix podcast. This has been International Listener Pod.
I guess we'll call that our International Listener Appreciation segment.
Sure.
Thank you.
Where we complain about Stitcher versus.
And thank you, and you're welcome.
All right, so let's get into it. I want to say where we had left off, the most recent episode we had watched when we talked about Doctor Who last was episode 7, I think, was the Pyramid at the End of the World.
Oh, the monks. Yeah, we were just diving into the monks' storylines.
Yeah, the first of their two-parter. I mean, it kind of stretched. It was really kind of like three-parter, but
I kind of have issue with the fact that they're called the monks because, like, someone was talking about the monk storyline, and my brain automatically went back to the meddling monk, and I'm like, wait, there was a monk trilogy or whatever, and they're talking about this, and I'm like, oh crap. We need a better name to differentiate between the meddling monk and the monks.
And I don't think they should be allowed to be called monks anyway, because apparently that's not what they look like. So that's not their real form anyway.
Well, yeah, and what? They had a robe on. They had robes on. That's like the only thing that makes them monk-like.
Yeah.
Well, and then they had the headless monks too. Like there is a abundance of monks in Doctor Who lore.
Yeah, that's the problem with exactly. With Doctor Who, when you're talking like 50 plus years of various lore, like you can't just call something a generic title like that.
Mm-hmm.
Was the meddling monk, was that like the one basically Time Lord early on?
Yeah, he was the first renegade Time Lord.
He was kind of like the pre-master almost.
Yeah, but he was much more of a trickster. He was just like, I don't know, I just think this would be a better idea. Let's try it.
Yeah, yeah. It was like first Doctor period.
Yeah. He comes back in the Big Finish audios for the 8th Doctor, and that's a lot of fun.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
with Lucy Miller and everything. So awesome.
Ooh, I'll get there.
You have that
I'm listening through that stuff right now, actually.
It'd be funner if they had some more trickstery type time travelers, at least, if not time lords, because there aren't any. But
yeah, it could make for some fun stories to have somebody who messes with time, but not like trying to conquer it or erase reality, but just like weird little things that will eventually build up to be a horrible
I'm going to draw a mustache on the Mona Lisa. Something,
Yeah. Well, yeah, like the meddling monk, he doesn't ever he's never like, I'm going to take over the universe. He's just like, I think this will help. And it doesn't.
It seems like they stranded him or something in some time. I don't know. I just remember being like, this guy's not doing well, but the punishment didn't really necessarily fit the crime in this case. I remember thinking we're kind of harsh on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes though they do that. Like there's people that kill a lot of people and they kind of get away with it, sort of. ish. And then there's some people that might kill 1 or 2 people, and then they, get like trapped in a painting for eternity or some weird, horrible thing.
Yeah, and then and I come across this in one of the audio plays. Then you'll get the people who are like responsive, like killed a bunch of people, but they were trying to save. I don't know. They were trying to do something good. It's just they were kind of evil and trying to do this like
They were
goal.
just kind of evil.
And then at the end, they're like, "Well, all right, we'll leave you here. Bye." And it's just like, let him.
Well, we all learned a little something about ourselves. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, you murdered a whole bunch of innocent people, but you learned your lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, scamp.
Yeah.
You scallywag, you. Ha.
Yeah, no, you're
You.
It's another one. How do they differentiate between, they're just a different species that's hungry, and they're evil, and they're going to devour the universe? Well, they're just hungry too. Come on.
Yeah,
Be
it's
real.
true. It's true. Okay, so we don't really have to go into necessarily a synopsis of the monk ones. We know it. There's the whole pyramid bit that led into, the doctor was blinded for several episodes, but that led into Bill basically telling the monks, like, I give you permission to take over Earth, granting them permission because they needed permission from somebody who was doing it.
Out of
not
love.
Yeah, not out of a place of fear. And she did it so that they would give the doctor his eyesight back, which is kind of still out of a place of fear, but she's afraid for the doctor.
Yeah.
And that episode, for me, I think is the low part of the season.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, me too.
And the low part of Bill, who otherwise might be my favorite new Who companion.
Mm-hmm. She's very real.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say.
Yeah.
Seeming.
But that was not.
No, that decision, that I think that was like the biggest flaw in the writing of her characters. That just didn't really. I understand why she did it, but it didn't really.
I don't think she would have. It seems out of character. It seems like her character more likely would have just let whatever happens happen, and then beat herself up about it forever.
Yeah,
seems more likely.
What do you think about that, Jesse? That her decision to hand Earth over to these things so the doctor could get his eyesight back and save himself.
Yeah, I think it was guilt, shame. That's all I can come up with on that, because otherwise it's like a really bad idea. Like, okay, yeah.
And I could see some companions doing it because they're like, well, it'll save the doctor and then the doctor can fix this. And that's was eventually like her reasoning. But I don't know that she necessarily trusted the doctor enough at that point. Mm-hmm. Like, not that she didn't trust him, but part of what I liked about Bill is she never really seemed like just blindly on board.
Yeah.
Like, she was going along because it was fun, but also she was still hesitant of situations, a little hesitant of the doctor. And yeah, she was real. She was like, yeah, this is great, but this is crazy dangerous. And
even in the later ones, which I don't know, should I not talk about yet?
No, you can mention it.
When bad things did happen to her, she wasn't initially on board with going into that situation. And he's like, oh, don't worry, I won't let anything happen to you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So then that leads into episode 8, Lie of the Land, in which basically, it was a little heavy-handed, this episode, but I did like parts of this quite a bit, where they basically manipulated everyone's memories into thinking they had always been there, and they were just kind of like
dictators?
Yeah. That's not quite the way I was going to put it, yes, but yes.
Like a fascist regime.
Yeah, yeah.
Almost religious.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, everybody has like muted gray and brown clothes. Like, I mean, this was only a matter of like, a couple months after that previous episode, and all of a sudden, everybody has completely different clothes. I thought that was odd, but
they don't like color, apparently.
What's interesting about this, and calls back to comics. What's happening in comics right now is they did almost this exact same thing in the storyline that's going on right now in Marvel, Secret Empire, where Captain America takes over. It's like Captain America has been in control for maybe half a year, and he's like rewritten the textbooks, and they're teaching it in school that Hydra's been in control for like ever.
Oh, interesting. Really?
Or should have been, and the heroes messed it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like the heroes were the reason that Hydra hadn't been in control or something.
But it makes sense to do that though, because that is if you look at real situations in the world, the easiest way to control people is to control what they believe to be the truth of the world.
Mm-hmm.
With the
Right.
things that they grow up reading, and your leader is a half god that wrestles bears and rides dolphins and crap, whatever. And they grow up believing that, then they're gonna do whatever he says.
Wait, that's not true?
Dear leader. But yeah, I actually didn't mind this episode because I like that. I mean, it's like I said, it's a little heavy-handed here, but I mean, it's classic sci-fi, like beware totalitarian rule and dictatorships. It's classic sci-fi, and it wears its commentary on its sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
Also, and some people I think had issue with this. I enjoyed that Bill actually tried to kill the Doctor. She tried to shoot him with intent to kill him because she thought, he was
the
legit working for them.
Yeah. Like, and so her one bit of hope, like she gave him his eyesight back and handed over Earth, and her one bit of hope of, well, if the Doctor's still around, he can help save us. And then she gets there and she believes that he's quite the opposite. Maybe shooting him is a little extreme, but
I thought maybe some of her reasoning might have been the contract or whatever that she made with them would be voided.
Oh.
Or something of that nature. I don't know why I thought that, though. Maybe I was way off. Because if he's not there to have his eyesight, then why would they still have an agreement over, over that or whatever? I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting.
But I suppose you can't really do that. It's like if you bought a car and then you're like, smash out the headlights and then you're like, this car's a piece of crap. I don't want it anymore. Give me my money back.
Yeah, exactly. Like the deal's done.
When this is this whole series is them flirting with what we already know as the viewer is that Picaldi. I don't know why I'm saying that.
Picaldi.
Hey, Picaldi. Capaldi is going to regenerate, and so they just keep like teasing us with that. Like he's kind of got a death wish this whole series, and then they're like, oh, here's another point where he's going to regenerate. And the funny thing is like this is the regeneration scene that we kind of get before the series ever starts. So it's even worse, like they had been giving us like teasers of what the regeneration will look like.
Oh.
And this was that clip.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh my God, it's happening now. But it can't be happening now. That doesn't make any sense. And then,
it was a ruse.
Yeah.
It was a ruse. He knew she was going to shoot him all along.
Which is a little cheesy, but I don't know. I was on board for it. I think some people have serious issues with it, but I don't know. I kind of liked it because it just lends to Bill not being blindly on board, the typical companion. Mm-hmm. And also...
Well, and she was driven to the brink of madness here, too.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
She doesn't know what is and isn't real at this point.
She'd been super strong, and in fact, she was stronger than most because she was able to hold on to the memories from before. But then, she is driven to the breaking point. And and also, if he really is working for her, she knows what the Doctor can do. Or working for them, the monks. She knows what the Doctor can do.
And that's not a good thing to have anybody have, control, or not even control, but just a partnership with.
And she didn't know about regeneration either, I don't believe.
I don't think so.
But this season was super meta. I mean, it tends to be, and the last several seasons have been increasingly kind of meta, but it ties into what Jesse was saying with, teasing us about the regeneration, since we know. I mean, the last two episodes, they teased us several times. Mm-hmm. Bill is more so the audience than most companions. Like, she'll say things that most companions won't, and she'll make references about, just little kind of gags about, do you know sci-fi stuff? Do I know sci-fi? Stuff like that. Or, they'll reference Alien and just various things. So, and messing with the viewer fully knowing that the viewer knows there's going to be a regeneration is just another example of it. Yeah. Oh, and Missy, goes what is that? And that's in a couple episodes, I guess. Goes super meta.
Oh my
talking
god!
about
Yeah,
Doctor
the second
Who.
second to last.
And-
Second to last episode was like, oh my god, you're so. I mean, like, I could see that being a problem for some people, but I thought it was brilliant.
It worked for me. It irritates me in the way that it was meant to irritate fans because I hate calling that when people call him Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
I am one of those fans because he's the Doctor. But
Right.
I do enjoy that they did it. That they're prodding. They're just like, they're teasing us. It's pretty fun.
You think that's really what his name is?
No. No, and he makes it clear. He's like, she's just messing with you.
Have you ever seen the title? What did she say? She said something like some blatant, like, have you ever seen the opening screens or something like that?
Is this where he busts Missy out, or is that earlier?
They don't bust her out yet. They go and talk to her though to find out.
That's right, and
if
that's
she's-
her introduction.
Yeah.
Bill's introduction to Missy.
Right. If they find out if she's ever had any dealings with the monks and if she knows how to fix the situation, and basically she says kill Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's skip again to the next one, where we truly time travel back to what could easily be a forgettable classic Doctor Who episode.
Okay.
Right.
Empress of Mars, which begins with one of the cheapest CGI shots I think I've ever seen in any TV show.
They should have used a model.
They should have make it out of cardboard. Okay, so it's so brief. It's like a second. It's like 2 seconds. Super quick. The episode opens with I don't know why this sticks with me, but it did because I was like, oh no, this does not bode well. There's an establishing shot of the NASA building that they're in.
Uh-huh.
It's super quick, and it's the most cheesy, basic CGI. It looks like they forgot to put the textures on the buildings. Like, it looks horrible. It's so cheap. But anyway, yeah, this is the Mark, am I right? This is the Mark Gatiss one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
With the, Ice
So
Warriors
opening up,
Martians.
I wasn't particularly, like, my hopes weren't set high because the last one we got was Eye Booger Monsters.
Yeah, not great. God, that was an awkward episode too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't have to bust through what all this is, because if you're listening to this and you're still on board, like you've probably seen the series. Here's what I liked about this episode is it did feel like a classic Doctor Who. It's totally a throwback episode.
Yeah.
There's essentially like 2 or 3 sets that they reused the whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of effects, which is good because the effects that were there looked just rough.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like a handful of people. Let's have a little, like, I mean, it could have almost been one of the old school live, like shot live episodes, you know, where they used to do it like a stage play or something.
I was thinking it felt like a Third Doctor episode.
Yeah.
It felt like a Third Doctor story, maybe with a touch of Fifth Doctor, maybe.
I think they even used the old Ice Warrior suits from.
Yeah, it felt like it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
The Ice Warriors did not jump out of their suits and fly around and like the lizard around or anything.
Nope.
Oh man,
that
yeah.
was good.
Thank God.
So I appreciated it on that level, and they even added a bit to the Martian Ice Warrior mythos with this Empress or the Queen,
Uh-huh.
and that was fine. But the rest, everything else, just like the Doctor has some horrible dialogue in this. Like it just goes so cliche.
Mm-hmm.
There's like I expected one of the jerky British guy or whatever to be
Start twirling
twirling
his
his mustache, and the Doctor's
Are you
like,
sure he
"You
did?"
haven't seen the end of me or the last of me," and like just I was like, "What is this?"
I'm not certain he didn't twirl his mustache.
You
once or
probably
twice.
did. It wasn't the worst thing, but yeah, I was.
But it certainly seemed like a money saver.
Yeah.
I'll say that. And I'm sure they have like, I mean, they're
Yeah.
British. They probably have like 40 of those outfits laying around in every house.
Every house. To our UK listeners,
We don't have any.
When
anyway.
what was the deal, Mark Gatiss? I mean, like why Why did I mean, the TARDIS does just take off once in a while, but usually they try to explain it like, the TARDIS can't be here because this is an aberrant timeline and this shouldn't have ever happened or whatever. Like, there's usually a reason when the TARDIS just up and leaves, and they never did explain what was going on with the TARDIS stranding them on Mars.
And you can tell when they do those things, you're like, well, that's plot convenient. They need it because if the TARDIS was there, they'd have no story because they'd be able to give a resolution. Mm-hmm. But yeah, at least try to explain it.
I thought their thing was had something to do with Missy, but I didn't know what it was.
No, I don't think so. It was. I don't know. It seemed plot convenient.
Well, in the end, Missy was involved in getting them home. Like, Missy was like, oh, yeah, I can fix the TARDIS. So you're going to have to let me out, but I can fix the TARDIS.
Well, yeah, because
like,
it sets up letting Missy out, and then also getting rid of the TARDIS so they can't use it for the plot conflict. And there was no real.
But they never explain why at all. Yeah, like there's no reason for it other than they needed Missy and they needed to get rid of the TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just felt sloppy to me after the fact. I mean, like, when my first viewing of it, I just kind of enjoyed this episode. I mean, even as cheesy and bad as it was, because, yeah, it does feel like a throwback. But that part, after you kind of pointed out some of the flaws of the episode, I was like, yeah, what about this? This was stupid.
Good job.
I think maybe it's one
fired up my cynical brain.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think it's one that maybe I'll appreciate a bit more on a rewatch. After looking back and being like, okay, yeah, that was totally a throwback episode. But at the time, I was not ready for it and I was not on board. And yet, I still don't call this the low point of the episode, of the season. I think I'm still going with the monk one.
No, yeah,
the one monk episode in particular. Because actually the one leading to and coming out of were not terrible.
The one leading into, I actually was kind of interested.
With the library and stuff? Yeah. Okay, then we have episode 10 is the Eaters of Light. What is the deal with this? Oh, this is the one where they go back to the 2nd century Scotland. Mm-hmm. And there's the one with the Roman army and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is this where we get all the flashback stuff with Missy? Where does all that happen?
Oh, no, I think that happened... Oh, where did that happen? I feel like that happened earlier in the season because because that happens before the complete reveal that it's her in the, like, that's the episode where they reveal it's her.
Oh, that's right.
And that happened
right. You're right.
Earlier in the season. I don't remember which episode specifically, but that's another beef. And I think this is not necessarily popular opinion, but I don't buy that Nardole would let her out of the vault. I think, Melanie, you disagree.
Oh, no. I mean, like, we spent the entire time him arguing with the doctor about we can't let her out. We can't let her out. We can't let her out. And even after the fact, we can't let her out, but we just did. But in this moment, when he needs it, he's totally fine with it.
And Melanie has a valid point because I think you disagreed with me on that. Mm-hmm. But you had said that, well, Nardole was just, the doctor said we can't let him out, so he was just listening to the doctor.
Right.
That he personally didn't care if Missy was in there or not. But I don't know that, and that's...
I don't really think that he would, because he doesn't seem to care nearly as much about people's lives as the doctor does, it seems to me. And if the doctor's not there, that affects him, and I think he cares much more about that than he does about letting Missy out. Because he's a robot.
He's like a robot alien.
He's an alien robot.
They play the robot thing up at first, and then they just kind of totally drop it.
I don't know that how robot he is, but I know that he was the head of a robot for a while, which you imagine he'd have to have some robot parts left over. Otherwise, he would just be a dead thing.
And the first episode of the season, like a screw falls out of his arm sleeve and his shirt sleeve and stuff.
But apparently, he's got human lungs, or not human, but
some type of organic lungs because he passed out in the TARDIS. Yeah. So this Eaters of Light, I enjoyed this episode. It's kind of a one-off. It's a little cheesy with the crows or the caw. Yeah. But
it also seemed kind of like an older episode, I think.
Mm-hmm. It felt almost like not a historical, but almost like one of the ones where they're like still kind of holding on to the idea that maybe these can be historical, but
or like
the monsters do well, so let's mix it together.
Or like one of the ones where, you know, there's witches, but they're not really witches. They're really aliens that do whatever, but people think they're witches. One of those type of ones, you know? I don't know. Where there's something supernatural, but it actually has a usually alien explanation.
I enjoyed the Roman bit about sexuality. I thought that was actually pretty entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And the concept overall, you know, it was fun. It was interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's nice throwbackiness.
Yep.
This is a perfect example of my earlier complaint, though, about how, you know, these things are evil and they will destroy the universe and all the other universes. But, you know, something else in a similar situation would just be some poor hungry alien that wanted to eat all your light. So
Right.
And that kind of was like the deal
a light snack, if you will.
There you go. Now we're back on track.
Yep.
What'd you think of this one, Jesse?
I didn't like it as much as, I mean, like that. This is bizarre because we're kind of on the fence on this Mark Gatiss one, but like I liked it overall. I think it was a well produced episode, but I don't know if I had as much fun with it as I did the Empress of Mars.
Okay.
One other thing, like just real quick throwback, because I can't believe we didn't mention it. The original voice of the Alpha Centauri.
Oh yeah.
Like that was I mean, like I guess I had so many. Was it member berries? The South Park reference for that I was just like, this is incredible. This episode's incredible. And then we get into this episode with the light creatures, and I'm like, okay, it's fun, but it's also, It felt very one-off, one and done, and it was a great episode, but you also could go the whole series without it and be fine.
Yeah.
One thing I kind of enjoyed about this season as a whole, because we're about to get into the last two, which is definitely like, I mean, they both feel like individual episodes, but it's definitely a part 1, part 2 type deal. Mm-hmm. A lot of the season was one-off episodes, and I kind of enjoyed that. I mean, not that they don't ever do one-off episodes anymore, but I like just like, hey, it's adventures. We're just going on adventures. And there's the little through line with Missy and the vault and all that. Yeah. But for the most part, the first half of the season was all one-offs. Then we get the little 3-part type episode with the monks and stuff. And then that leads into a couple more one-offs before ramping up to the big finale. So I kind of like that. And it sounds like, I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Melanie?
I was going to say they seem almost like a break. Like you get to take a break from the
Moffatness.
Yes.
And it sounds like, and I'm fine with doing something super serialized too, because it sounds like Chibnall, the next showrunner, it's very much going to be one solid through line.
Space Broadchurch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what, have you guys watched Broadchurch?
Nope.
I should.
Yeah, it's one big drama. Like the first series is all about, a murder that happens, and is it a murder, or is it this kid had problems and he committed suicide? Like that whole thing. It's basically a police investigation, and it carries throughout the whole of the first season, and you are basically seeing the same story but from multiple perspectives, and that's kind of how that first season lays out.
Interesting. It's got Tenet.
I know. I wonder how these shows that are kind of related but not really, I wonder how they do about that.
What do you mean?
Like, do they acknowledge that he was once a doctor? Or it looks similar to a doctor that existed at some point?
If the future projects he works on is like, feels the need to throw a nod to him being the doctor? Probably not, but I don't know, maybe.
I don't think so. Not in this portrayal anyways. He's not a super friendly guy at all.
What about Killjoy? When he was Killjoy, he could.
Oh, Kilgrave?
Kilgrave, yeah, Killjoy. Killgrave.
Yes.
He'd be like, I could make you.
I don't know. Did they make mentions?
No, I don't think.
It feels like it would be
didn't.
More appropriate in a Marvel thing than.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's true. But no, they didn't.
They could have got away with it, but I don't feel like Broadchurch was the right place for it because it's way serious.
Maybe that's why I haven't watched it.
I think it's interesting though. I mean, it's not that we have to have a discussion. It's worth a discussion. It's not like Doctor Who hasn't gone super serial before, but
wait.
Super serial, Super Saiyan.
I'm super serial.
Super serial. Guys,
approaching 9,000.
But if you think about like the really good shows on TV right now and the ones that are doing very well are those super serial ongoing dramas and stuff. So I think it could work for Doctor Who. It just not that it necessarily has to be a drama, but I'm curious to see what the storyline will be, how they will approach it.
Right.
Well, Buffy was pretty super serial, right? And they weren't serious at all.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of interesting because Buffy, and I think as it goes, it gets a bit more serial. But, I mean, they still would do occasional Monsters of the Week. And even if you look at how Moffat runs a lot of this stuff, you'll get the Monster of the Week or the one-off episodes, but there's always that through line. But it kind of sounds like Chibnall's going like straight, like hardcore, there's a through line. Every episode there's going to be a cliffhanger, and it's going to make you want to come back to the next episode.
No.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like classic Who, where
Same Who time, same Who Joe.
Where it ends on the the big sound that comes in, and you're going to have like the
if they're going to do that, they have to start every episode with the last 5 seconds of the previous episode.
And
I mean, you got to.
You got to have the 7th Doctor looking disgusted at a werewolf chick every time.
Yes.
That's one of the most memorable ones because the look on his face, and it's the one they kind of go out on, it's just like, he just looks repulsed, like, ugh, and it's so comical to me. Was it a werewolf or a vampire?
Was that Survival, the cat people?
Yeah, I think so. It's like where they went to the circus.
He had like crap in his, it's like he had crap in his contact lens. Like his eyes hurt forever after that.
Oh, man.
That's the main thing that I take away from that story. And it's the last episode and story of Doctor Who of all time. And he was like basically brutalized by contact lenses.
I like the cat people one.
I like it too, but it's really weird. It's a really weird story to end Who on.
Oh yeah,
that's true
for sure. Well, I mean, maybe that's why.
Were they aware that was happening?
No, they tacked on, like they re-recorded the ending to make it feel more like a ending.
They're like,
once they found out.
Carrot juice. Don't worry, you'll come back next season. Those won't be your last words as Doctor.
Yeah.
No, that was a different Doctor, but still.
But it was like someone is leaving the tea on. I mean, it's a pretty classic. It's a pretty classic line, but you could tell it was like voiceovered and very, very tacked on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad it came back eventually beyond the TV movie.
Yeah. I'm glad that
I'm kind of glad for the Wilderness era actually, because we wouldn't have Big Finish if it wasn't for that.
There's some awesome Big Finish stories too.
I'm glad that I got ready to watch it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness for gas mask episodes.
It just takes gas mask children to get me into the thing.
Gas mask.
Yeah, man, it makes sense.
Ghosty children.
Yep.
That was a Moffat episode too.
Was it?
Yeah, that was one of the first Moffat episodes ever aired, I think.
Well, it did it for him.
It ended fairly weakly too, so it seems everybody lives.
What? The Doctor can't dance.
Everybody
Come
lives.
on.
Nobody.
They had me with moisturize me. I was like, that's fantastic. That's
and
the
a
last
Britney
human?
Spears reference. Yeah.
Well, we've said it several times, and I'll say it again. Moffat is better when he has a check above him, when he like a check and balance above him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's a better writer when he has somebody to like edit it, I guess.
Prove himself too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or maybe somebody would be like, this episode has to end, right? God.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody had to tell him no. Was he with Rose at that point? Was the Doctor still with Rose?
Yeah.
Like no.
That was in the 9th Doctor.
Rose isn't a superhero.
Well,
Eventually they all become superheroes.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. The last 2 episodes.
Right.
World Enough and Time, and The Doctor Falls. I enjoyed both these episodes. I liked the setup episode, mainly because I loved the premise. I like time travel stuff, obviously, and we're watching Doctor Who, but I love the premise of like, there's this long ship and time's different on one end than the other. And so, it's almost like the Inception, like different layers of sleep where they're living their lives for generations on one floor. Meanwhile, like, the spoilers, of course, the Master in Disguise has a monitor of them up there and they're like virtually still. Yeah. Been raising his eyebrow for a week raising eyebrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love the concept.
Mm-hmm.
And this was, this was, how would you say that name? Rachel Talalay?
Yeah, Talalay.
Talalay. And she is the director. She directed these last 2. She's the one that they brought on. Was it the end of last season or maybe the season before? I think it was the end of last season. But anyway, she got she worked on the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and she directed at least one or a couple of those. That's kind of, so she got her start doing like low budget horror movies. Yeah. And when they bring her on, like you can kind of see that horror movie influence, especially in this first episode, with Bill in the hospital.
Yeah. They have to be extra creative because they're like, well, I got to make this look okay with nothing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I think that's part of why they like working with this American director, is that she, gets good visually dynamic results for cheap. She knows how to like stretch a budget. And they brought her on once again for the last 2 episodes of the season. And like it shows, not that any of the episodes I felt, maybe with the exception of the Mars one, were badly directed, but like every time, like I could kind of like watching this, I don't pay attention to the names in the credits. I probably should, but partway through when we got to that hospital scene, I was like, oh, did they bring her back? Because this seems very like, very horror movie, almost, and it was her.
Yeah,
was
and
like,
that was one of my favorite scenes too.
Oh yeah,
when they go and like she goes to turn up all the other hospital patients' things, and they're all like, no,
kill me.
Yeah,
it was good.
Great.
I feel like this is one of the better Cybermen stories in recent history too.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I just feel like the modern era does not get Cybermen. And this finally felt like, okay, they get Cybermen.
It kind of seems like a lot of the modern ones, like, they're like, how do we make them scary? We'll just throw a bunch of them in there.
Make them fly.
And this one gets into that a little bit. I mean, this next episode gets into that a little bit at the end. Not so bad. Or, make them fly or make them super fast somehow.
Yeah.
But I think this one embraces, especially putting Bill through it, the body horror aspect and the...
Yes. There's a person in there.
Exactly.
And that's creepy.
Yeah. The dehumanizing of people in these suits.
And, like, one of the best parts of it, of the whole thing, the whole two episodes, was when she was talking to was it the doctor? I don't know if it was the doctor guy or if it was the Master in Disguise guy. But basically saying, we fixed the problem. Now they just won't be able to care that
they won't care about the pain. And that's I guess, when it's supposed to be the big reveal that it's Cyberman, because he pulls up that little thing and it clicks it down and it's like the Cyberman headpiece.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it just,
they still hurt. They just don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Which makes it even...
what was it? Maybe it was in the interviews or something, but they were like, we're basically seeing the genesis of the Cybermen. Maybe that was the end line of that episode. I don't know.
It was. I believe it was. Yeah.
But it makes me really sad for Cybermen in general, though. It makes me sad for them. That's what they, that's what all that they are, is just people in pain forever, but they can't care enough to do anything about it.
Yeah, they really nailed on that, especially this episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, for sure. And that's kind of what makes the Cybermen scary. And like, I think it's so effective here because they really focus on that.
Yeah.
In the next episode, they still focus on that with Bill, and actually there's some pretty heavy stuff in it. But the Cybermen become more of just kind of like the general threat that
Sure. More like a zombie attack than a
Mm-hmm.
deep dive or anything. But I mean, like, the setup was so good that I was able to forgive it in the second part, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine.
Still not my favorite treatment of them, but I can deal with it.
Because the second part really became about something else.
Yeah, it did.
It's kind of interesting because the second part became the character piece. It became about the characters more so than some other episodes. Like, it's always kind of about the characters, like when it's being written well, but you've got the plot is the main thing that brings you to it. And the second episode here was like, the plot is putting the characters in this position, but the thing that's really you're paying attention to is how they're interacting with each other, because it's when you finally get the Masters together, and the Masters and the Doctor, and then you got to deal with Bill.
And kind of Bill and everything around her, and her and herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all freaked out because she's a Cyberman, but she doesn't see herself as a Cyberman yet.
Mm-hmm.
There's
that whole scene with the little girl. Oh my God.
The part that really bummed me out about Bill was when she walks into the house and the lady that was flirting with Nardole shoots her.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm sorry. And Bill says, it's okay. I understand. The look on Nardole's face. And that's like, I think the time I enjoyed his character the most, because he really sells it. I can't remember the actor's name. He's very well known in the UK, I guess. He's a comedic actor. But look on his face is what made me want to tear up, because it's like, I don't know, just his reaction to her, like how crushing it is. Just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that was good. Let's get to the main chunks of particularly this last episode.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The Master and Master.
Mm-hmm.
How the interaction there's that one scene with the Doctor and the two Masters, which is fantastic. It's good use of Capaldi before he's off the show, giving him some like kind of emotional stuff. And then the Master and Master going out, like how they get taken out. Thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Stuff? Particularly Master and Master stuff.
Okay. I like it.
You like it?
I do.
Okay.
Wait, I'm slightly confused.
On how they...
The one Master.
Sims Master?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to him? Because he should not be there.
He escaped. He escaped at the end of time, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Was it the end of time? He was sent back to the Time War with the Time Lords, the High Council, at the end of that. And apparently they made mention in that episode that they cured his condition. So the sound of drums was removed because they implanted him with that. And thank goodness they got rid of that. Because I feel like that was a thing that really undermined his performance. I mean, like, it both brought something new to the performance, but it also really messed it up. So yeah, after he escaped them, he was hiding out on this ship or something. I don't know if he's had a bunch of adventures, but at some point he winds up on the ship in disguise. And that's where we find him.
Now, and Missy does not remember this, because they do the throwaway line, which I believe they've used for other times when, like, the doctors are together and stuff, because the two of them there in the, like, so close in the same time period messes with things and they don't remember it. So,
right.
How they got away with the 9th, 10th, and 11th Doctor not remembering any of the John Hurt Time War stuff.
Mm-hmm. So, but she is supposed to be the last reincarnation of the Master, because when it is over, doesn't he basically say he did something so that she could not regenerate ever again? Yes,
and some people didn't enjoy this. I kind of like this, that this is how the Master would go out, but they kill each other. She kills him, knowing he'll regenerate, and he kills her extra good. Like, gives her an extra big zap so she won't regenerate. I don't know.
Maybe they have, like, some extra organ we're unaware of that that's the regeneration organ, so just stab into that, and then,
he zapped her there.
I don't know what the hell it was, but yeah. I think he says something about it, but I don't remember what it was.
I'm not convinced, because that incarnation of the Master was never good at closing. Coffee is for closers.
And I don't know if they specifically said Sims regenerates right into her. I don't know if she specifically said that. And they made a point of, you don't see him regenerate.
No,
He
yeah,
gets
you're
stabbed,
right. There could be
shoots her, and then
a couple of regenerations in between. You never know.
And he's literally come back from like ashes and magic potion. So, you know, who knows? And Eric Roberts. He came back from Eric Roberts. So he can do anything.
Mm-hmm. Dude was a goo snake.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. And a cat person. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's like that Everclear song, Everything to Everyone.
I wonder if he has some kind of special, like, cat goo snake insights that help form his character that we're unaware of, you know?
I remember the time when I was a snake goo, cat. Yeah, I remember the time, and that makes me better at things.
I liked Sims's master here, because he's definitely different.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And
thank you.
He's straight up evil old school villain. Like, he's
Yep.
cold.
They even gave him like Delgado eyeshadow or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they gave him the eye makeup.
Del Shadow. That was bad.
The Del Shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guido.
Delgado have it.
There you go.
Yep.
Take that. And Missy, like, still being very reluctant, but turning.
I kind of hate that they had to make her a woman for this I have emotions thing. That kind of pissed me off.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily something I don't think I've heard anybody mention that, but that kind of did cross my mind. But I was like, you know what? If it bothers
I kind of wanted her to just have the moment where she has the choice to be the good guy or the bad guy, and ultimately goes bad. And she sort of has that choice when she's right there with the doctor, but when it's her versus herself, then it's different. Like, no, she has this moment of, no, he's actually right. And we're like, I don't want that from the master. I never want that from the master.
I don't even know. I don't like to take it that way. I like to take it more as, I don't trust myself. I'm a lying, horrible son of a bitch. So I'm gonna kill myself because I can. The doctor's at least predictable.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be smart. The doctor's at least predictable. She knows what she's getting herself into.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I've heard complaints about their decisions to kill themselves, in that the master is such that he's survival at any cost. He's not above working with the doctor if he has to because it's survival, or he's not above slinking away if it means surviving. So people use that as a reason for, like, they don't buy that he would, either version would, younger him would kill older him, because that means
right. I guess that makes more. Yeah. The way that I took that, I mean, like, that is if there is a problem with Sim's portrayal in this, it's that moment. But I also took it as like a supreme revulsion at what he was going to become. Like, this is like a principal tenet of what makes the master, and you have decided that it's not true anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't handle that, so I'd rather kill you than see myself become that.
Yeah. And I'd buy that. And the master his plans always backfire.
Mm.
So it totally makes sense that he would be responsible for his own death.
Yeah.
He left the doctor behind. Usually when his plans backfire, the doctor's there to work with him and help him out. So, when the issue is like, should we go help? Yeah, I don't know. I buy it. It made sense to me. I was on board with it.
And yet it's so open-ended that I don't believe that for a second that some future showrunner isn't going to resurrect the master.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's comic. It's
Michelle Gomez has even said it. Michelle Gomez has even said it's somebody else's turn. So I mean, like, even she believes someone's going to come after her.
I'm the doctor's Joker. I'm never going away.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like if they were going to do the whole conscience development, they should have done it with earlier masters, because he gets progressively more evil. And there's many a time in the older ones when things go bad that he's like, oh God, what have I done? I can't believe I did this. It's horrible. you know, and eventually he loses that, I think.
I feel like they gave Missy Stockholm syndrome too. Like,
Yeah.
she, you know, like she is indebted to him, and to the point where she's willing to just be locked up in a cage for quite a while just because he's taken care of her, just because he's saved her life.
Maybe.
Which is kind of interesting.
But you got to imagine, you know, regenerations are rough on people, it seems anyway. But then having gone through a bunch of really crazy, weird ones, it's probably not all, you know, all that mentally sound anyway. So you get already a little gooey in the brain, and then have a traumatic experience.
Gooey.
And
that's a callback.
She certainly played it that way too, though. Like, I think specifically this season, as it went on, like, well, and she became more emotional. She kind of settled down, became more like sane and cohesive. But early on, she definitely played her like way out there. Okay, the doctor regenerating, the doctor not willing to regenerate. And then the
awesome reveal.
And then the doctor.
Yeah.
So I think I asked Jesse this on a message one day, but I don't remember how our conversation turned out. What do you think his deal with not allowing himself to regenerate was? He was fighting it. He kept fighting it. Do you think he didn't want to change, or do you think he's like, I'm dying, I don't want to come back?
Yeah, no, we did have this conversation, and I can't remember if I ever was able to reconcile the answer for myself, because it could be either one. Yeah.
He's definitely trying not to change, but it seems like he knew he was dying, and he's just like, no regeneration.
Yeah,
which seems
odd. I know we're gonna get to this later, but like I also think knowing where it's gonna regenerate, like where the regeneration is gonna take him, I think it really does tie into the fact that ultimately the master rejects him, even Missy. Like she doesn't, but he never knows that. He never finds that out.
Yeah. In
this incarnation. And so I wonder if that will be part of the reason for how this regeneration is going to turn out. But I'm jumping ahead. I'm jumping into what we're going to talk about later. But I had those questions in my mind. But yeah, does he just want to end it? Does he just want to be done? Because based on earlier in the season, he's ready to just sacrifice himself at a moment's notice, even if it spends the rest of his life. He's going to stay here and make sure that things go off without a hitch.
That's a good point.
And people are like, no, don't do that. You can't. Like Bill had to talk him out of some of those things, you know?
I think it's less about worrying about what comes next with the regenerations and whatnot than it is him being a crotchety old man and being like, nobody's going to do as good a job as I can, so I have to stick around and make sure the job gets done. That's what I feel like in all of the situations, really. In the you know, one where he would be there forever, and in these ones he's like, well, I can't regenerate because the next youngster's gonna ruin this, and I got to make sure it gets done right before I'm gone, kind of a thing, you know.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, and he's always said, I don't remember which incarnation it was, but he's always said, I'm not any good at regeneration. I think maybe it was even the fourth Doctor who was like, I've never been good at it. And Romana's just like trying on regenerations like clothing. Like she's like, I'm not going to stick with this one until I know I like it.
Yeah. And most of his regenerations until him seem to have gotten younger and younger. And it seems like it would fit, with his old man feelings not to regenerate because most likely he's going to end up someone younger and stupider, or not necessarily stupider, but, you know, more impulsive and whatnot.
Stay off of my lawn, you regeneration of me.
Yep. And it could be a ginger, so.
Are you regenerative kids today and your millennial phones?
Oh, wait, is she? What is she?
I don't think she's ginger.
Oh, would have been better if she was. Then it would have been a woman and a ginger.
No, and she has played ginger, and that's why I was like, oh, we could have both. Ugh.
You know what would be fun? Wait, how old is this lady? She's not super old, right?
She's 35.
That's our age. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think they should make her have a baby.
I'm conflicted.
Well, they've had the other ones.
She needs to have a baby.
Well, they've had the other ones. What Jenny is going to have her own Big Finish, whatever.
Yeah,
the Doctor's daughter.
The Doctor's daughter clone from
Mm-hmm.
That one.
I don't even, Big Finish hasn't even weighed in on that. Like, I wonder if Radio Times or whatever, if they broke that news early or what was going on there.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything else other about that.
I mean, like, Radio Times broke the story, and I think people were like, hey, is this true? And I never did see Big Finish release anything official on that. But I assume it's true, because why else would Radio Times break that news?
Mm-hmm.
But they've broke news before that they weren't supposed to break early. Like the 10th Doctor box set that news got leaked a lot earlier than it was supposed to.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that they have a chick doctor, they need to make her have a baby, and then she needs to visit her in the future, and then she has a baby that's the granddaughter that they have at the beginning of the series.
Oh, totally.
She has Susan?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. She
The
has
doctor would have a
Susan's
kid.
mom.
And then she goes to visit that kid as a grown-up, and that kid, or the grown-up kid, has Susan.
That's one thing. They mentioned Susan a lot the last couple seasons, particularly this last season.
I was really surprised that they didn't do Susan. And I guess she'll almost have to be there, won't she? No, she won't. It'll be Ben and Polly.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd still be really surprised if they don't do something with Susan.
Mm-hmm.
The Doctor goes through several regeneration doctor lines.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And then he gets off on this snowy place that we saw at the beginning of, was it this episode or the episode before?
Oh.
And then he runs across some old guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to put
God, this was awesome.
the original.
Yep.
So, I had heard on other podcasts, and they had kind of blown the theory for me, but it did not make it any less awesome. Where they were like, okay, he showed up on the planet that is the 10th planet. And I was like, okay, that's really interesting. That would be incredible. And they had even said that they'd seen, what's his name? In Cardiff. And then it was revealed. And it was him! And it was the 10th planet. It was, the costume and everything.
Yeah, his name is escaping me, but he played the first Doctor in that,
Adventures of Time and Space or something like that.
Yeah. He's good as the first Doctor. Better than that one they had that one time.
Yeah.
I hate that they've recast any of them.
David Bradley.
There you go. But they've done it before, and this guy's better. So.
Yeah.
Oh, he's way better, yeah.
So I'm
and from what I understand, he is uncanny at certain points. Like, in that biopic, we get to see him play Hartnell as much or more than we get to see him play
the Doctor,
quote unquote, the Doctor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we are just going to get to see David Bradley play the Doctor.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
And I'm pretty excited about that. Have you guys seen that? You've both seen that or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Matt Smith pops up at the end.
Oh my God. I wanted to cry like a baby.
That was the big, yeah.
It was really it was so dusty in my house that day. So
You had a
dusty.
bunch of
Not
dust in your
crying,
eye?
but totally dusty.
Oh, yeah.
I was so allergic that day.
Just eye irritation like crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy eye irritation.
Oh, and jumping back for a second, one other thing. I like Bill. She was like the most real. And then, at least Moffat didn't turn her into a superhero. He turned her into
Well, kind of.
a godlike being.
Yeah, he kind of did.
Yeah, I know. It's not terrible. It's very much a have your cake and eat it too thing. But he can't help himself.
Yeah.
He turned her into a superhero, and then he turned her into an even more powerful superhero.
He can't help himself.
I mean, like, at least this kind of made sense in the story arc that was Bill, but it still felt very weird.
I like that.
Forced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like that it set her up. It's just clear they had a very, this is the first episode. It ties into her last episode, if she doesn't come back. I have a feeling she'll probably show up in this next episode. But, so, they had a plan. She's got a full arc here, and it ties around. So I enjoyed that. And I liked Bill. I wouldn't have wanted her to go out in that horrible way. So overall, I didn't mind it. It didn't bug me that much. But a little bit, it's kind of like, oh, man, they can't. And I understand. People watch Doctor Who to escape. But,
well,
they killed Adric.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not like they
and the dinosaurs.
rammed her into the planet as an asteroid or something,
Yeah, so,
trying to solve some freaking math equation.
Well,
what a way to go out.
It goes back to, Perry. right? Where they kind of take her out in what the actress, she didn't know anything about them like doing that little throwaway. No, she got better and married the barbarian that she couldn't stand, because that's how they got rid of.
Yeah, she hated that version. She preferred the version where she was just like lobotomized or whatever.
Yeah, she thought that was cool, and it's hardcore, and she was undeserving. It was brutal, but it was cool. You're like, whoa! When it gives it weight.
Yeah.
And the problem is, like, there's no weight to any of these characters, at least reoccurring characters, because it's all comic book death.
Yeah.
Meaning they'll come back bigger and better.
Or married to a barbarian that they can't stand.
Or being a barbarian.
So
and
now
to
we're
some
probably
weakling guy.
we're probably going to see both Bill and Clara in this.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
You know,
Ugh.
I think they've already said that they're both coming back. Which Bill maybe, because she could and should, but Clara, no. She supposedly wrote him out of his memory.
Yeah. She didn't pop up when he was remembering through his recent companions, did she?
I don't think so.
Because they like showed, flashes of a bunch of them. I think from Rose on, which is a little cheap. But I guess they don't have 5 minutes to go through every companion. But
Yeah, and I mean,
no.
it's.
I want to see them all.
Yeah,
All of them.
I suppose. I do want to see a couple of them.
Where's Jamie?
Yeah.
They were in Scotland.
I know.
Oh, hell yeah.
A part of me was like, were they at Scotland? And I don't know what time frame Jamie was supposed to come from, but
I was totally thinking
he was Highland.
I was thinking.
yeah.
That's why they killed off all the adults, huh?
Yeah, they're like, nope, Jamie's not around. What if it was a younger Jamie?
Maybe he was there.
I so badly want them to just like write in Jamie. Like, it could be maybe we've even talked about this on this show, but like he could just pop in. It could be like a throwaway, a cold open, where he's playing chess with some old guy, and it just happens to be Fraser Hines, and we're like, I'm gonna have to come back.
Mm-hmm.
We'll finish this game later.
Yeah.
And Fraser Hines doesn't even know he's Jamie because he's been mind wiped, but the doctor knows, and that's good enough for him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I agree.
Because the doctor always liked Jamie, like they've established that even in Big Finish later episodes. Like the Sixth Doctor doesn't seem to care for anybody, and yet like he waxes poetic about the Second Doctor era all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
So. Yeah. That's what I'd love. That's another thing that I would love on my checklist of things I'd love to see is, while these people are still alive, have Ian Chesterton, have Susan while they're still alive.
They even do.
What are you waiting for?
A callback. They place a large portion of, was that last season at the school, and even do a callback to the character on a sign. And it's like,
yeah. And they made him the headmaster and didn't show him at all.
And maybe the
dude is still around.
Is he? Maybe he's not up to acting, but
maybe.
It definitely.
But he's going to be in Wichita, Kansas in October.
If he's doing conventions, yeah, have him in there.
I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's something that I think.
How could you not take the opportunity if you had it to have like one of the first companions? He was on the first TARDIS crew.
I think it would be good for them too, because I think one of people's, I don't know if it's like a complaint or not, but I've heard it mentioned in the show many times before, or I don't know if it's specifically Doctor Who or if it was some of the spin-offs or whatever, but that he has a companion and then one day he like drops them and that's it, and nothing ever again. Mm-hmm. Well, that's messed up. Let him at least, even if they're not aware of it, go back and see him once in a while.
Yeah.
And if they're going to have him meet up with a modern doctor, Capaldi would have been the perfect one.
Yeah, it would have been.
Because he's
for sure,
age-wise, not in attitude, but age-wise, closest to the first doctor, who Ian would have been familiar with. So it wouldn't have been, and, he'd be an old guy now, so, it would make sense.
Yeah. But maybe that's why they wouldn't do it. Maybe they'll do it now, because it's completely different. They're like, oh, it's a chick. Hey, now let them figure out that that's the doctor that they're talking to.
Yeah, no, then team him up with... Well, Ian, I guess, wasn't so bad about it, but team her up with Ian, and bring back that 1960s sexism that was in there, where the women would just get hysterical, and
Yeah.
Ian would go do the man things. Barbara was tough. She'd do tough.
She was.
Yeah.
She really was. I mean, I love her in the Aztecs, where she's just like, I'm a goddess, and y'all do what I want.
Yeah. I think could have had Capaldi keep getting his name wrong, just as a fun callback to the first
That would have been incredible. That would have been incredible. Oh, why are they not paying us?
Right? And every other Who fan who has these
Yeah, I feel like we are special, though.
That's true.
We really get it.
I agree with you.
Speaking of getting it.
Yes.
Yeah. Christmas.
I get it.
We get it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming up, and they announced already, as they like to do, circus media style. They announced what's going on with the next regeneration during a tennis tournament, like you do.
They do that. They schedule these big Doctor Who announcements and stuff like that around programs that the target audience would have no interest in. I would assume. I'm making a generalization.
Yeah.
I'm stereotyping, but yeah, it's weird. But I guess that's also good because it means they know Doctor Who's got it's something like this is a big draw.
Yeah.
They didn't do the big live thing. They just did the commercial thing. But the time difference over there is early enough. By the time I woke up that day when they made that announcement of the 13th Doctor, I wasn't sure what time it would be. And I tried to find beforehand. And apparently that was, what is it? A bicycle race? What is it? Tennis? Yeah, tennis.
Yeah, the Wimbledon. Yeah.
You even said tennis earlier.
Yeah.
Like those are scheduled till question mark. So I couldn't find I was like, when is this going to be announced? I couldn't find a specific time. It was already announced by the time I woke up that day, and it was spoiled before I could see this trailer, and that bums me out a little bit. I really wanted to see have it revealed through the trailer, but
right.
That's Facebook, whatever.
Didn't you live vicariously through me?
I did. Yeah. I was super excited about that, actually, yeah.
Because I don't internet very much.
And we haven't said it yet, but as everybody knows, it is a lady.
Jodie Whittaker.
Yeah, thank you with the name. It's a lady. Truly appreciate that.
We have totally been hinting at Broadchurch stuff this whole time, so yeah, she's well known in the popular culture. She's known for lots of roles, but she's really well known for being a main character on Broadchurch, the Morning Mother.
Is she okay? She's like a main character on there?
Oh, big time. Her son is the character that is murdered / committed suicide / what's going on, right? Kind of thing.
Okay.
The mystery revolves around her. So there's a lot of screen time with her and her family trying to come to grips with what has occurred. And so I think she's going to do brilliantly because she has to do a lot of things in that role. She is dealing with the death of her son.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of
woe be to the first alien race that gets the angry doctor speech from her.
So she's like the Mr. Palmer without the molestation.
Oh, her Leland? Leland Palmer? Yeah. We'll hit on that later. I'm fine with that. With her, with a woman doctor.
Yeah.
It seemed like the writing was on the wall. I guess it was a toss up between there was a couple female actors, and a couple males, including a ginger, that it seemed like people were kind of had a toss up.
Ah!
Almost. Jesse,
we'll never get a ginger.
What are you going to be represented?
We're getting a female. We're getting a female before we get a ginger.
Yeah.
When are you going to get represented, Jesse?
Never. Because I don't have a soul.
It's just unfortunate.
Soulless. It's soulless. That's what that is.
It's just unfortunate.
I see how it is.
Little soulless ginger boys don't have that role model to look up to.
Okay, Peter Davison.
We'll touch on that too in a bit. So yeah, I don't mind that it was a woman. It'd been rumoring enough, and there were plenty of hints this last season and the season before that setting up that's a thing that happens. That's not uncommon.
Well, even way back to the doctor, what was it? The doctor's wife? Is that the one? The Neil Gaiman episode where the TARDIS is a human, basically.
Mm-hmm.
They make callbacks to it way back when they were like, oh yeah, I knew this Time Lord and he was a Time Lady, and yeah.
Oh, interesting. I don't remember that.
Like they've really, the entire time that Moffat has been around, he's kind of been laying the groundwork a little bit.
That was a good episode too.
Yeah. That was actually Hawley's first episode of Doctor Who.
Oh, that's a good one to come in on.
Yeah. That was recommended by our friend Dave Bell from way back when we had him on.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Clown Cops or whatever? Clown Motorcycle Gang.
Yeah.
I don't know what episode number that was.
Clowns or something, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So Melanie, I think, was the question mark between us, because I know you were fine. You were on board with a female doctor. And I think both of our doubts about how Melanie would feel about it is based on one,
Thor.
It's Thor, and she doesn't like stunt casting or gimmick casting.
Right.
And she doesn't like it, although I feel it's different in Doctor Who, and maybe this would be a little discussion. She doesn't like it when they take a male character like Thor or even, Batman, and then just make it a woman. And it's like, here's your character, women. You get a female Thor, or you get Batgirl or Batwoman. Like,
instead
you don't
of giving them making
original woman.
Yeah.
Original character.
I do just like that. This is different though, because it's established that regeneration is a thing, and they did spend a lot of time not only establishing that men can regenerate into women, but like having some of them around to test how people felt about it, which is what I thought Missy was them being like,
right.
So how do you feel about kind of a main, Time Lord character as a woman, and people didn't react badly, then they were like, okay, then I think that it would work then. So
that's interesting. Testing the waters with Missy.
Yeah. I kind of wish they would have waited like one in between. It is kind of quick to push that right on. It seems a little cheesy, but it's okay because, they're kind of maybe wanting to get on it before people forget how they felt about it. I don't know.
Sure.
But I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Well, and after the fact, after you pointed it out, after you revealed it, it was like, oh yeah, that's right. On the Thor episode, Mel did point to Missy as a good example of how you do the gender swap.
Right.
And it totally is. And so if you're going to do it, Doctor Who is the perfect place to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's never stated that they can't, and it's built into the character since the first Doctor since they had to recast. Like, it became an integral part of who the character is, that they change. It changes actors.
Yeah. And
they never say it can't be another gender. Quite the opposite. In fact, I want to say there was the fourth Doctor had a quote about, not knowing who he would turn into. It could be this or that or a woman or whatever. So, like, even the classic series, even if it was just that one little throw-out line, it's there.
I wonder if there's some kind of like reasoning behind it. I mean, it's not real anyway, so it doesn't matter because it's. Oh,
you mean like a myth of story reason? Like,
yeah, like you have if they get to some point where they need some nurturing in their life, or I don't know, something, and then they come back as a woman, or not come back, but regenerate as a woman.
Well, I mean, that stands to reason, especially since that was supposedly one of the reasons why he regenerated into Capaldi, is that he remembered something from his time as the 10th Doctor or something. They did that whole thing the series before.
This face. Why do I remember this face?
Yeah.
Yeah, and my thing is, like, I'm fine with it. I don't, of course, whatever. I'm an adult. I'm a man. I'm 35. But,
I'm 40. I'm a man.
Right? Like, that's I don't know why I know that reference. Somebody just showed me that video the other day. Otherwise,
it's ridiculous.
It's so outside of, like, what I would normally come across, but it is pretty good. I'm a man. I'm 40.
It's a football coach or something.
Yeah, some football coach super angry about the newspaper picking on one of his players. And the part that people are really latched onto, because he's, like, ranting, and he's like, You want to go after somebody, go after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. It's so good.
Yeah. Coach rants wind up being some of the best news clips.
But like, I don't know. And I didn't get into Doctor Who when I was younger. It wasn't until I was older. So I don't have necessarily the role model thing. But I like Doctor Who. I like the show Doctor Who. I like the character, the Doctor.
Yeah.
They almost tricked me into it. And it doesn't bug me that they changed. Like, I don't feel like, I don't see myself in the Doctor anymore. I never seen myself in the Doctor. The Doctor is a time-traveling alien, which is awesome. It's not me.
Right.
I don't see myself in the Doctor.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't think you're supposed to, are you?
Well,
if anything, maybe you're as a companion, but.
I mean, yeah, kind of. Like, that's why the companions are there so that the Doctor has somebody to give exposition to, but also that's supposed to be the audience's in.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's people's complaint. So I don't know if you've seen people. The big backlash, which I think was probably, as the saying goes, a very vocal minority. I don't know. Maybe, I guess the ratings will tell.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people are super upset. And that's one of their go-tos is like, boys will lose a role model, an important role model.
Well, that's verbatim a quote from Peter Davison, too.
Yeah, Fifth Doctor. But...
which was taken out of context.
It was. I think it was I think it was a boneheaded thing to say, but also like in context, because he said it at a convention. But in context,
he said it at San Diego Comic-Con, of all places to say it.
The convention, the original. No, it sounded like he was stretching though. It's like if I had any criticism.
Well, it sounded like they just kept asking him different questions related to it. It's like they were baiting him into this answer almost. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm reading into it a little bit, but it seems like, he had come on to other interviews and said on the record that he wasn't necessarily on board with a female doctor. So he had said that prior. But at this, it felt like maybe they were trying to lead him into saying it again, like doubling down. And it never felt like, if you read the transcript of what he said, it never really felt like he was full on doubling down. He always led with, I think this is great. Mm-hmm. I think she's going to do well. He always led with that. And it just felt like they kept asking him questions that were going to lead him to say something stupid like this.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. And but it's a moot point anyway, because there's 50 years worth of Doctor to be the boys' inspiration. Let the girls have a couple years, and then you can switch back to the boys having another freaking inspiration, okay?
Yeah, that's interesting, because that exact point gets used on both sides of the argument, because there's always got to be two sides. There's always got to be an argument, right? That'll tie into something that Patrick in an upcoming clip says. The one thing is, but he's been a doctor for 50 years, or he's been a male for 50 years. It's what he's supposed to be. Why change it? And then you've got, like you said, we've had male doctors for 50 years. It can be a female doctor now.
For a minute. I mean, they're not going to leave it as a female for the rest of Doctor Who's career, I guarantee.
I just don't understand. I don't understand. And I'll be surprised at where some of these comments pop up. They'll pop up on Facebook groups where it's like, you're only in that group if you're like legit into Doctor Who and you follow Doctor Who podcasts and this and that, like you're a fan. And you'll see a lot of people. There's a lot of comments about, well, I'm done, or the show's dead. The show's dead.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, like really? You're a legit hardcore fan and you're really just like done because they cast a female doctor? I don't get it at all.
Well, perhaps they're not as legit a hardcore fan as they claim to be.
Yeah.
Well, and then I sent you that link of the wiki that has every time ever that the Doctor has ruined. It's like the Doctor Who has been ruined.
Yeah.
It's dead forever.
That was brilliant.
And
or did you send that to me? I don't know where I found it.
You sent it to me.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, you sent it to me. And there's so many just throughout the time.
It's brilliant. And so many of them happened in the last season, too.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of them. But also, like,
Ghosts, Doctor Who is dead.
The actor, The actor, the actor leaves, they recast the Doctor. The show's Doctor Who's dead forever.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. I mean, people were complaining since the first Doctor, so.
Yeah.
Harkening back to the Peter Davison thing for just a second, I have to say I'm super excited and proud that at least Colin Baker gets to be a good guy on this one. He's at the same convention and he's like, I'm sorry, Peter, but that's rubbish.
Yeah, oh,
as a father of multiple daughters, which is funny. I mean, it's like that's throwing it right back in Davison's face because he's a father of a daughter too. But he's just like, that's rubbish. Role models are just people, period. And I have daughters, and this is awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, good. He can be the hero. You know, the Sixth Doctor got such a bad rap during his time on TV that I am so excited that Colin Baker got to be the hero, at least in a news bite.
Yeah, and that was my thing. I was like, just as a joke, of course. I was like, so it'd be the Sixth Doctor who's the good guy here, like out of the Doctors, the one that used to call his did he ever call
they wrote him. They wrote him so bad.
Like,
that first couple episodes where his regeneration was broken. That's the thing is like there's this beef between Eric Saward and Colin Baker, and Saward just wrote the Sixth Doctor like it was a monster.
Oh yeah. Well, and even after that, like
choking Perry, and
he would like give her gruff about her weight, which seemed really weird.
He was awful. He was awful.
Yeah.
She wasn't fat at all.
She was the like one that they cast.
She was like a model. Like she was wearing a bikini in the first episode with the Fifth Doctor. I mean, like,
Yeah, she was obviously the like, ooh.
She was the eye candy.
Exactly.
I guess you just couldn't say it. And we're like, well, since she is the eye candy, we have to make it as awkward as possible.
He wrote a whole article, and I don't remember what website it was posted on. Some UK news.
Well, he does
site.
like an editorial. I think, he does his, what was it? Oh, I forget what it's called, but he has an editorial column in his local paper over there.
Yeah, and he did an article about it, and it was pretty good. Well, let's continue this. Let's continue this right into our letters page segment.
Okay.
Yay! Yeah, we have some reactions to this.
Yes,
exact thing.
Exactly. We will start with. Well, we'll start in the order that we got them. So,
okay,
we actually have audio clips. In the future, listener, if you want to send in audio clips like this, or leave a voice message, or just an email. Hit us up at letters@grawlixpodcast.com and try to keep it under, I don't know, like 2 minutes. Keep it, well, whatever. Just keep it, don't take over our show. But we'd love to hear your opinions, and we'll do like we're going to do here. We'll listen to it, play it on the show, and give some feedback.
Do we have a phone number also?
We do have a phone number. Let me pull that up.
You forgot the phone number?
Of course I forgot the phone number.
I
remember one phone number, mine.
It's like 1-804 comics or something.
Well, close.
It's close.
Before there were 800 numbers, yeah.
It's 559. Yeah, it's 55. There you go. 559-426-6427 or 559-4-comics. That's number 4 and then comics spelt out.
Yep.
And the first one comes to us from Patrick of Make Dad Read Comics. We've referenced his show on our show several times. Patrick's emailed us before too. On Twitter, it's @DadReadComics. Otherwise, you can find it on makedadreadcomics.blogspot.com, or search it up on iTunes or any of the other popular sites. So, I'm super excited about this one because this is a rarity.
It's a great clip, yeah.
All right, so here we go. Here's the clip.
So you and Mom watch Doctor Who.
Yep.
Do you like Doctor Who?
I like Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Interesting character.
Have you watched the whole season?
So far, yes.
No. How would you explain Doctor Who to someone?
Doctor Who's an alien who looks like a crazy scientist.
Right.
Who lives in England.
Yep.
And he has an assistant named Bill.
Yep.
Who's a female.
Yes.
African. No, see how we are so prejudicial in our speak.
Black British.
She's Black British.
Right.
Has a robot fellow.
Robot fellow hangs out with him.
Hangs out with him. And they go through a police call, telephone thing.
Right.
And they go through it's like a rocket ship.
Right.
And they go through all sorts of spaces.
Yeah.
And see all sorts of crazy things.
Lots of aliens and robots and monsters.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So do you know that Dr. Peter Capaldi
That one's dying. He's not going to be there.
Right.
He's going to regenerate into a woman
Right.
who's going to come from the series Harbor Beach or Police Beach or something.
Harvard Beach, LA. It's called Broadchurch.
Yeah, Broadchurch.
Right.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
That's going to be very interesting.
Okay. Much like Miles Morales Spider-Man,
Yes.
the internet went crazy about this.
Did they really?
Very angry. Very angry. It's a
Couldn't have a
woman.
female.
Yeah. What's your opinion on that?
Well, it was kind of stupid. Doctor
How is it kinda stupid? Is
Doctor Who's been a male for over 40 years.
Yeah. What's the matter if he's a woman?
Well, how does he become a woman? Well, you have to buy into the fact that how does he regenerate himself?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. He can be anything he wants to be.
Yeah, I know, right.
He's an alien, so we don't even know what he really looks like.
Right.
If he
Exactly.
looks like anything at all.
Right. Is it all just silly?
It's all silly.
It's supposed to be just be fun and enjoy it, right?
Yeah, that's all. I just watched the show because it's funny.
Does everything have to be a culture war?
Yep. No.
Thank God.
No.
So yeah, his comment about
I love that clip.
Yeah, me
it's
too.
so good. Does everything have to be a culture war? Like, yeah, that's what I was referencing earlier. It's like, yeah, exactly. Doesn't need to be. We had Dad on the show. Like that clip
That's
is
incredible.
I think that I was I was ecstatic when I heard that because I was like,
I'm done. I think the show's over.
I was like, that's
good night, everybody.
That's as close as anybody's gonna get to having Dad on their show.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have we tried?
He won't. He's not going to.
All right. Me and Dad might be able to have a dad off.
Well, I was trying to explain like how excited I was about it to Melanie that Patrick recorded that clip with his dad because I was like, he's the Melanie of Make Dad Read Comics. Like he doesn't do any of the social media stuff. He doesn't go on other people's shows. Like he's not going to pop up everywhere like me and Jesse do, or like Patrick obviously runs their stuff.
Yeah.
And has his own other podcast. And I was like, so he's elusive, you know, he's an internet mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you have to go to him, like, I think they've probably had a few guests on Make Dad Read Comics, but like that's pretty rare.
There's a couple things I definitely want to hit on in there because I think I got what he was saying about the Black British thing at first, but it wasn't until just now listening to it on the headphones that I caught like what led into that.
Oh, really?
It sounded like he was, well, yeah, because like he says something and then he says something about the prejudice in his speak, Black British. I think he was about to say African American.
He was.
Yeah. And I didn't catch that before. I just listened to it on the phone.
He did say African, I believe.
Yeah, he said African.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, so I wasn't sure. I was like, what led into that? So that's interesting. But, you know, yeah, that's something I've heard because they're African Americans here. Like
Right. Well, and he's not wrong. I mean, like there's a certain perception that we as Americans have about what England is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
And even in America, I think they're starting to change some of the way, like, because there are so many immigrants from Africa that are getting citizenship here, that there might be two different classifications, even, for African Americans and then Black Americans that have lived here for generations.
The other thing is I love his description of the show.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Traveling around through all kinds of spaces.
Yeah, it's so good.
And he dresses like a British scientist.
Yeah, yeah.
And the phone booth as a
Police
rocket
call.
ship.
Yeah.
Like a rocket ship. Yep.
Yeah, it's so
love
good.
it. I love it. I think I love everything about this clip. So,
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. Like a million times over. That was awesome. I was thrilled when you sent that to me and checked it out. I had to send it to Jesse right away.
I was at my brother-in-law's wedding, like the rehearsal or whatever, and I was like, I think I'm going to burn through my data because I need to hear this.
And then yeah, it sounded like, you know, he was of the opinion it's like, you know, it's just for fun. It's just a show that's supposed to be fun, and you know, it's entertainment. Like, it's stupid that people are upset about it.
It is, but I think it's stupid that people get angry about most of the crap that they get mad about.
This is true.
So,
I think that's why I'm so excited that we got Dad's take on it. It's like, man, it just draws things into sharp like contrast with what's happening versus what should be happening.
Yeah,
it's like, thank you for giving us a moment of clarity on this thing.
All right, so we got another clip. This comes to us from DJ Johnny Rock of Neil and Johnny Drink in the Park, which is a podcast on the Electronic Media Collective with us. And
What is that? That sounds incredible.
It is.
You like how we always pretend like we don't know?
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, I know. The podcast network? It's a podcast network.
Yeah, what is that? What is it? Weird.
We're on with a bunch of other great shows.
Oh, thank goodness.
You can listen to Neil and Johnny Drink in the Park, or the Grawlix podcast, or the Roman podcast, or Pro Wrestling Iowa. Have you noticed? Well, we've had almost all those people mentioned on our show.
Those guys almost never post a podcast, do they? Or they post all the time.
Those guys almost never not post a podcast.
those guys are the hardest working podcasters I can think of.
Oh yeah.
So
lots of podcasts. Yeah. And I kind of run that podcast network. So yeah.
He's like the spider.
Oh, that's why I've heard of it. That's crazy.
The web that we throw up on the interweb.
Yeah. We're gonna drink ad monies off of you?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Somebody's stealing our ad monies then.
We do it. We don't have ads, do we?
No. Well, I know there is. I did eventually put a Google ad on.
My Google ad.
Not on Grawlix, but it's on the podcast network.
Yeah.
It brings no money. It was really kind of an experiment, but and I'm not going to drown the page in ads. That looks so tacky, and I know that's how sites make money.
Yeah.
And trust me, it takes a lot of time to run a podcast network. I wouldn't mind some type of compensation or something I could funnel back into it. I'm still not going to drown the website in ads. It looks so bad when they do that.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we had some Patreon, monies maybe. That would help.
Okay.
What's Patreon?
No. Sorry, DJ Johnny Rock.
What is that?
We'll get to your clip in a moment. First, we have to promote everything.
It was the 50th episode, so.
Oh, that's true. It's a Speed Pimp Promotions Spectacular.
Yes.
That's why this episode's extra long. It's the 50th. Jam-packed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Huge.
Whoa, no.
No, yeah, keep going.
I know where that's going. So, Patreon. Hey, you want to help us out? Specifically with podcast, with hosting fees and website improvements
and paying off our EMC overlords.
And yeah. And making Grawlix great.
Again.
And not just Grawlix, the entire electronic media collective.
Yeah, I need to vary my names better.
Yeah.
Of my organizations. Well, the patreon.com/Grawlix podcast, that goes to Grawlix.
Okay, yeah.
But if we make Grawlix better, it will make the podcast network better.
That's true.
And it'll free me up a little cash that I can throw into the network, because that'd be good too.
Mm-hmm. And it's one of those ways that I was wishing we had earlier in the show to support something without having to sit there and listen to it live all the time. Or in our case, having to listen to ads all the time. You don't have to do that. Instead, you can just, toss us $1 here and there.
Keep Grawlix ad-free.
Yes.
Except for the promos we occasionally run, but those are our friend podcasts, and we do not get paid for those.
Nope.
No, we just like those.
Yeah, exactly. We just like those. They're good guys. You should check out their shows, and
we're not going to promote stuff we don't like or can't make fun of.
Yeah.
Exactly. If we like
we're
something,
promoting
we
it and we don't like it,
it's not good.
Yeah.
You'll get live streaming of vlogs and pre-shows and post-shows and all kinds of bonus stuff for just $1 a month. It's insane.
Uh-huh.
Patreon.com/Grawlix podcast.
Do you give a little more, you get a little more.
Exactly.
Some awesome stuff that I don't even remember what it is.
A little quid pro quo. A little this for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not necessarily sexual.
Could be.
It's not necessarily not.
Exactly. All right. Speaking of, let's get back to Neil and Johnny.
Yeah. What are they doing? What are they doing on the network?
Okay, so Neil and Johnny have a fantastic podcast, Neil and Johnny Drink at the Park. Find it at neilandjohnny.com, or, as stated earlier, they're also on the network, so electronicmediacollective.com. We have a clip from them, and this is DJ Johnny Rock's reaction video to the announcement of the 13th Doctor as audio.
Okay.
It's his reaction video as audio to this announcement.
Yo guys, this is a reaction video to the unveiling of the new Doctor Who. I was gonna record this as a video, but it's hard to find VHS tapes these days, so I'm sorry about that. Anyways, I've never done one of these before, but I am a big Doctor Who fan. You ask anybody that you know, and they'll tell you that that's true. So I mean, I've been on the edge of my fingertips about this announcement of the new Doctor Who for at least like couple of hours. So let's quantum leap right to it. Okay, so here we go. Okay, I've got YouTube loaded up. There's a commercial for Ford, and just gonna skip through here. Okay, alright, we're skip ad. Always takes a while for the skip ad to come. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we got some trees and stuff so far. Nice high production value on this. Yeah, I'm vibing on this. Okay. Ooh, big hood, sharp shoulders, kind of like a football Doctor Who kind of thing here. Okay, more trees and stuff. Alright, somebody's walking through the forest. Watch out for that. Okay, step on the twig. Okay, it's tiny ankles like needles. What's that? It's a weird time key. I've never seen a time key do that. What? What? Is that Peter Davidson? Wait, is that what? Oh my god. Oh, it's a female doctor? It's a female time lady? Looks like Judith Light from Who's the Boss? This could be huge. This could be huge. They actually did it. They chose a woman to play the Doctor. How freaking brave. How brave. Or crassly commercial, given the popularity of female leads in TVs and movies and stuff like that. What Peter Davidson's going to say about all that.
All right.
It's super brave.
That's very...
That's a Thor subject right there.
Oh, man. Okay. DJ Johnny Rock from Neil and Johnny Drink in the Park. NeilAndJohnny.com. Yeah, that's real interesting clip.
I love it. I love it for totally opposite reasons that I love the other one.
I do enjoy the Peter Davidson comments a lot.
Yeah.
And that is perfectly DJ Johnny Rock. It's perfectly Neil and Johnny.
I want to wait on the edge of my fingertips for something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ask anybody you know.
Okay.
Johnny's the biggest. He's a big fan.
Is he? You're somebody I know.
Ask somebody else you know.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, DJ Johnny Rock.
This is a great clip.
Yes.
And it's very entertaining.
I like how he was concerned about like foot placement and don't trip.
Twigs.
Kind of like don't blink, but don't trip and sprain your ankle.
Yep.
I like that.
They're delicate, you know.
Yeah. Delicate ankle.
It's super brave.
Super brave.
Super brave. I really respect what you're doing here.
I get it. You know, I get it. Okay, so that brings me to my concern. We've been,
yes.
Like, okay, female doctor. Yay, this is good. My concern. I think it's good. So long as it's not heavy-handed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like, it can be a woman, just don't, it doesn't have to be heavy-handed. No, like, it's like Thor. Like, they went heavy-handed with it. Versus something like, I know this is our go-to, but it's because it was like the perfect combination of books, like 2 months in a row. Versus, what was the name of that other one?
Angela,
which, was heavy-handed in other ways, but it wasn't necessarily heavy-handed about the female leads.
Right.
So long as the writing's good, I think it's fine. If the writing sucks and we have bits where we have the Missy Master return and it's like, you know what? I get it. Because she's a woman. I get it. You can take me in. It's fine.
Right. I also hope that they don't go like full-blown First Doctor on this, where the First Doctor was old, so they had to have Ian Chesterton as this like action male. We got to have the action male.
Yeah.
Somebody get the action male, please. Someone cue that up.
That's a
Is she
you know,
gonna
like
be? Yeah, because if she's all weepy and like always needs chocolate or some,
I
stupid bull like
cannot.
that,
I can't see them doing that.
I would
Like,
be very upset.
No.
the decision.
but they have said, like, okay, it's always been the male doctor with the female companion, and one of the things that people have been excited about is the fact that it could be a flip and you could have the male companion, and that was my first concern was, are they just going to go first doctor on this? And okay, well now we need a male companion, which I don't agree with. I don't think we need a male companion. I think we can have a male companion.
Okay.
I think that they should avoid a male companion first off because of that.
Yeah.
Because that's what people. But I wouldn't mind like a butch companion like Jet or something. Is that what her name? Is that her name?
Ace?
Ace. That's it. Ace.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be brilliant.
And she wasn't even really butchy, but she was much more manly than a lot. Like
She was action
Yes.
woman.
yeah, something
She-
like that
she-
would be fine.
Explosives was her thing.
Right.
Nitro 9.
Yeah.
And she was a great companion anyway.
Oh yeah,
but,
she's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, but something like that would be fine.
hmm
But I think they should avoid a man just because people will expect it to be a man.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
And I guess that kind of is a good, like,
Not forever. They can have a man later,
Yeah.
but
I guess that's one thing. Like, I was kind of excited because they don't need a man. And since Jesse made the point of the action man thing, which I hadn't even thought of, I'm kind of thinking they shouldn't do it. But I was kind of like, more so than there being a man doctor or a woman doctor or anything like that, I did want a male companion because I was like,
Yeah.
it's been forever since
Yeah.
we had every male companion, and it's not
Like
a matter
a proper
of like,
male companion.
yeah,
Yeah.
Not
they've
somebody's
always
boyfriend.
been tag-alongs. Exactly, Rory, as
Not-
big of a role as he
Not
played.
Adam with his zip up head, not Rory with his tag along. Yeah.
or Mickey when he became kind of a proper companion for a little bit. Was a
Yeah.
tag
Or
along.
even Jack Harkness for 2 episodes.
And he always felt like not a companion, but like a master, but not a bad
Like a
guy.
robot dog.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
sure.
But more of a supporting character versus like a companion, which is kind of like a co-lead most time or a supporting lead.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would like to see a male companion. So maybe that ties into, like you're saying earlier, it's like the companion is who you're supposed to like envision yourself as in the show.
Yeah. So sorry, guys.
Right.
It's all for women.
There's no good companion role models for men.
Yeah.
It really isn't. It really isn't. I mean, you're either Torlo or you're Adric. I mean, get over it.
Oh God, yeah, those are. Oh,
Which are you? Or are you Action Man? Are you Ian? Are you Jamie?
Jamie was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, past that, it's basically Adric or Turlo.
You're right. Yeah, there was a couple for. Yeah, and
Who
you're
was
right
that
because
one?
after Ian, there were several guys, but they were always one.
Ben and Steven.
They were kind of
and,
more
yeah.
forgettable. They were bland, and they were just action.
Yeah.
What happened to the robot
Yeah.
guy?
Oh, the robot, Chameleon or something.
Yeah.
Chameleon?
He
Yeah.
didn't, he didn't last very long at all.
No.
Well, that could have been fun.
Yeah, or give me a
Mainly
robot.
because of his costume and he couldn't move.
Yeah.
That like cyborg guy that was with them in that heist episode not long ago. I don't remember that heist episode.
Oh,
with
yeah,
Claire.
yeah.
And like the doctor, like secretly when Clara wasn't looking, was like, call me to the guy. I was like, who's
Right.
that? I'll take a cyborg guy companion. That sounds awesome. Like I'll take another robot
Heck yeah.
companion.
And then we got Nardle.
He does not count as a cyborg.
He's
companion.
mostly robot.
I guess he's a cyborg alien, which sounds cool, but he's not. He's just a bald-headed white guy.
And he's not even, it's like, it's almost like he's more like a robot dog than anybody else, really.
Yeah.
It's like he's not even, it's like he doesn't even consider him a companion. He's just like there to do the dishes and,
That's a good point because,
sweep. I don't know.
I mean, he was
He's Alfred.
He wasn't.
Yeah, kind of.
I guess he was kind of a companion this season, but most of the time he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Unless they
Yeah.
needed him for the plot somehow. And he didn't feel like a proper companion because he was more alien than the doctor was. Because you don't have as much experience with this guy, and he was part robot. He was alien. You don't really know anything about him. Sometimes he's super serious.
He was a secret badass.
Yeah, sometimes he's super serial, And then sometimes he's
Super
a total
serial.
goofball. Like he seemed more alien than the Doctor did, and he's a strange one.
But yeah, let us have an action chick, and then maybe you can bring in a guy later. Not one that she falls in love with either.
Or just write it well.
Yeah, just write it well.
Yeah.
If you just write it well, we won't even have anything to complain about.
I don't know that making the first female Doctor have a baby is a great idea.
Why not?
Well, not right away.
If the Doctor in previous reincarnations could marry his goddaughter, why can't he pop out a kid once he's a woman?
Oh, God. Yeah.
If it was written well,
I got
guess.
nothing.
If it was written well, I guess, but it just seems like
yeah.
it just seems like
That seems John Nathan Turner crazy right there.
It seems antagonistic to the audience that they know is angry about her being a woman, but it also seems antagonistic to some of the women because they'll be like, "Oh, what are women just good for popping out babies?"
Well, maybe we can
Which,
be like,
to be fair, Moffat is not particularly. He doesn't shy away from that at all.
This is true.
we could play it Bill and Ted style, or like you could get Susan back in, and then she'd be like, "Hey, you have to go and have my mom so I can be born. Let's get it done because you're getting up there. You might forget about me."
We set up the gun and we set up the key.
Yep. I wonder how that works, really. If something happened and he knows that it's supposed to happen, but he does, does that affect what he chooses to do? Like he's like, well, I have to do something like this sometime, so I might as well do it now because I know it happens.
Whoa.
It has happened in the future.
Wow. I think that's,
I guess I did steal my dad's keys after all.
I think that's why he makes a point of like not knowing about his immediate future.
Okay, I get that, but if he travels through time, he's gonna run into stuff
Like his first incarnation.
Mm-hmm.
that.
Oh, don't worry though, because he'll forget everything.
No, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Never mind. It doesn't matter.
No, I know what you mean. He'll come across future himself or things that future himself did or happened after the fact, and he'll be told it. There was audio play that had to do with that about. Oh, did I finish it? I swear I did. Where the Doctor discovered what he thought was basically the ruins of the TARDIS at Pompeii, which I swear at any given time there's like 3 different versions of the Doctor walking around Pompeii.
Probably.
But
Yeah, probably.
and then he ends up there in a later regeneration and is all like freaked out.
Well, God, they what was it? The 8th Doctor comes across a TARDIS without walls. Like the TARDIS has just like cannibalized itself to the point where it's just expanding into the time vortex.
Oh.
So there's so much bizarre stuff out there that you can find.
All right, so we do need to wrap this episode up. This is what happens when we talk Doctor Who.
I know.
This is what happens.
We didn't even talk about the other shows we liked, like Glow or anything else.
Oh man, Glow. It's good. Twin
No,
Peaks.
let's not. Let's not start. Let's not.
Twin Peaks. I'm loving it.
Can't do it. Oh, okay.
That's it. It's so good.
I can't watch Glow. I like Twin Peaks though.
What?
She-
It's so good.
It's too cringy for her. She can't handle it.
I can't. I have to leave the room for half the show.
That's
I can't
like-
do it.
I think that's what I like about it, though. Is like it's like
Well, you love your
I didn't
embarrassment. I can't handle
I didn't like it at first. I wasn't sure if I would like it. In fact, that was some of my hesitation to even start that series. But once I got into it, it was like, okay, that's fun.
I'm not saying it was probably a great show. I like The Office is a great show, I think, but I can't watch it.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, and this is very much like The Office if The Office were about pro wrestling.
Right. Female pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's cringy and like, oh God.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would.
yep, they went there and oh.
I wish I could, but it's my one flaw.
What about Twin Peaks though?
What about Twin Peaks?
You enjoying it?
Oh yeah,
I'm loving it.
it's awesome.
I'm living in it.
I wish. I want my
And this
to tell
is
me
the
that-
new Twin Peaks, yes, not the old
Yeah.
one.
Well, I love the old one too, but no, the new Twin Peaks. Every episode directed by David Lynch. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
One of the criticisms is that it doesn't quite have the same feel, like the small town feel that the original series had. And I kind of agree. Like, there's a lot that happens in Twin Peaks, but it doesn't quite have that.
But most of the show doesn't take place in Twin Peaks.
But it's got the same kind of awkward humor.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the same, like, weird, creepy seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much of the soap opera-y stuff, but a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got 500% more David Lynch.
Oh, yeah. So many scenes where you're like, is this serious? Are we just going to watch this guy sweep for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's for real. Like, we just watch a dude sweep for several minutes.
Oh no.
And then the episode continues after that. Or we're going to get like a little scene and then out of nowhere an entire Nine Inch Nails song performance.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to get like a 50-minute long experimental art film.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good though.
Wow.
It is.
It's so good.
We read what you tell us to, but first you have to exercise your voice. Cast your vote on Grawlixpodcast.com and tell us what poll list pick we're reading next. Then, listen to the next episode to hear what we thought of your recommendation. Don't see your favorite comic on the list? That's okay, you can write it in. If your candidate isn't chosen, just wait. It may be the next time. Your vote stays in place until it wins. It's fun, it's interactive, it's educational. It's true democracy in action.
This has been Randy. Like sewage, smartphones, and Donald Trump, some things are just Grawlix.
This is Melanie. You're wrong, you know. I'll never be able to Grawlix the words.
And this is Jesse. You are a Grawlix. You aren't the real Buzz Lightyear. You're an action figure. You are a child's plaything.
Listening to the Grawlix Podcast. The Grawlix Podcast is a production of the Electronic Media Collective and Vorpal Arrow Studios. For more Grawlix Podcasts, check out GrawlixPodcast.com. Also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, YouTube, ElectronicMediaCollective.com, Facebook.com/GrawlixPodcast, Twitter.com/GrawlixPodcast, all the .com/all the Grawlix Podcasts.
They did.
Oh God, did you hear those episodes?
What?
Yeah. He I don't know.
Yeah.
He went Mondasian Cyberwoman for a moment, and I couldn't quite make it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are going Mondasian on me a little too.
I'm sorry.
We're all going Mondasian. Maybe that's probably going to be
weird.
the
It's
episode
like
title.
yeah.
Is it still doing it?
Did I lose you guys?
I'm going to guess
You're
it's
still
still
there?
doing it since I didn't get a reply from that.
Are we all like...
Hello? A little bit.
Okay, so let's do the good old end this call and start another.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Same link, or are you gonna send me a new link?
Oh, yeah, we could probably do same link. Yeah, that would work,
Okay.
right?
So do I stay on, or do you stay on, or how's that work?
We don't know.
Okay, I'll try. Okay, I'll get off. You stay on, and then we'll see what happens.
I want to get off too.
Okay.
You'll. Jeez.
I see what you did there.
Jeez. All right, we'll be right back.